All right, so Mark, how'd you hear about these Perfect Keto bars?
Well, I've been stuffing them in my face. That's one way I've been hearing about them.
Yeah.
I've been in contact with the Perfect Keto company for a little while. They make some really good products. They have some good ketone products, and actually, probably maybe like over a year ago, I tried one of their ketone products, and it didn't taste that good. But the good news is they updated and created new flavors, and they did a better job the second time around. They didn't give up, and they made a much better tasting ketone product. But these bars, even right off the get-go, the bars were perfect. They made a really good bar. They made a bar that's not gonna knock you out of ketosis, which is kind of hard to find. A lot of the bars have sugar, or they have a lot of hidden junk in them that can knock you out of ketosis. These bars have a good amount of fat in them, so they give you some good energy, and on top of that, they taste good. I've been kind of addicted, I got to admit, to the chocolate chip cookie dough.
Yeah, that's your favorite?
That's my favorite one.
About second one?
I like the salted caramel's pretty good, but there's one of them has macadamia nut in it, and I don't know which one that is, but that one's really good. And then they made a new one. They made a cinnamon roll one.
Ooh,
and that one's really good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, you guys got to try. Andrew would be eating the crap out of those cinnamon roll ones. I know for sure.
Yeah, that sounds good. So if anybody wants to check out any of the bars from Perfect Keto, you can head over to perfectketo.com/powerproject and use promo code PowerProject, all one word, for 15% off all Perfect Keto products.
Nsima, I know that you don't work out very hard.
Nope.
Because it's pretty much just all genetics. You get a lot of questions about genetics, is that right?
All the time.
I wonder, what the importance of, some of our food would be genetically, like say for, cows, for example.
I think the genetics of our food it's pretty damn important. Like, Piedmontese is all natural, all natty, with no added hormones or steroids, and not even tren.
I don't know. These things are pretty lean.
Yeah, but their cuts.
I'd like to have them tested personally.
I think we should. But their cuts of beef are from the Sandhills region of Nebraska and contain significantly less fat and higher protein content than other beef that you might find at the store. This comes from genetics, the breed of the cow, and not relying on the extra intramuscular fat and marbling. In other words, you get the best protein to fat ratio from the best cows in the country, from the best beef for maximum gains.
I love it. You're able to still eat your meat, but you don't have to worry about the extra fat calories. Works out great for anybody that is looking to be jacked and tan like us. Andrew, where can they find out more information about Piedmontese beef?
Cool. As awesome as high protein, low fat beef sounds, our friends at Piedmontese are going to give you a more awesomerist deal by heading over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. Enter promo code PowerProject, and that's going to get you a whopping 25% off your order, along with free 2-day shipping on all orders of $99 and above.
I'm super excited because we're lining up with Quest Nutrition, and these are people that I've known for a really long time. We've met all the owners of Quest Nutrition, really awesome people, and then our boy Bruce Cardenas has been setting us up with some product for quite some time, and it's great to come together and have them sponsor this podcast. Quest Nutrition has a lot of great products, but the cookies are going to be something that you might want to check out if you feel like you have a sweet tooth like I do. I always need something to look forward to in my day, and I do love eating my meat, and I do love eating some of these foods that are on a ketogenic style diet, but man, sometimes it feels kind of hard if you don't have something to look forward to, and I like to end my day with something sweet, so I'm always grabbing like a Quest bar or a Quest cookie.
Yeah, it's great to have in your house, especially if you have kids, and if you want something sweet, better than having like Snickers bars and Doritos, have some Quest stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And the chips are really delicious. My kids actually like the chips and they like the bars quite a bit. Andrew, what do you got over there, buddy?
Yeah, I was going to say that's how you know something's good, is when your kids like it. Usually I try to give them something and they end up like, that's healthy. I don't want any of that. Give them a Quest cookie. They don't even know the difference. If you guys want to get in on this, head over to questnutrition.com at checkout. Use Mark's Quest. That's MarksQuest at checkout for 20% off your entire order at questnutrition.com.
Oh my God. Does Nsima's microphone work? Because a lot of times we have him off.
Yeah, he's going.
no, look, it doesn't work.
Dude, you really did get me. I was like, no fucking way. Holy shit.
I didn't think that would work.
That was
I'm all paranoid over here now. God damn it.
that was pretty good.
That was good.
I thought it worked. I thought it worked pretty good.
Yeah.
So today we got my boy the Muscle on the podcast, and I've been text messaging him and harassing him, mentally, physically, sexually, probably more sexually,
Mostly,
probably more than anything else.
yeah.
And he's just somebody I saw kind of like in a similar circle. I saw him kind of mingling with some friends of mine and some people that I know. And then I obviously already knew who you were from your show. And I also have a friend who's like just obsessed with your show. So he was like, dude, he's like, you got to check this guy out. And at the time I was thinking about getting a truck. He's like, you should see if the Diesel brothers can, make your truck or whatever. And he was all into it and everything. And anyway, my friend ended up, building out my truck, and you can check it out later and see what you think, see how he did, with the job that he did. But it's great to have you here today. And we finally just first met at the show that was out in Vegas.
Nsima.
Yeah, Nsima. That was cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was the bad time for us to meet, but
Yeah, because you were busy as fuck. You go to a lot of those shows?
So now we try to go to as little as possible, but Nsima's like the big. I mean, it's like the Mr. Olympia for fitness. Nsima's the end all be all. In fact, I was just told while we were down there, it is the biggest event except for one other event that Las Vegas puts on. So it's huge.
Oh, it was massive. And
Yeah,
were
you
like,
walked it, right? You walked it for a while.
I walked a lot of it, and they were like, oh, yeah, and there's an upstairs, too. And I was like, oh, shit, I never even saw that.
Yeah. It's crazy, but that's like our big event because that's essentially where everybody who's what would be considered a credible builder has vehicles. So I usually have anywhere from 2 to 10 vehicles there every year. And then I have my personal vehicles, and then obviously we have the show vehicles, which is what Diesel Brothers actually builds. And so we had a few of those, and we just go from booth to booth to booth for 5 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And there's just lines like you saw when I saw you.
Yeah.
And we do it for 5 days straight. It's like the most mentally taxing thing I've ever done.
It's hard to talk for that long.
Yeah. Well, I think I could probably talk for a while, but it's the same shit over and over. So it's like Groundhog's Day, because every single person that walks up to you is like, hey man, I'm a huge fan, let me show you my truck. And you're like, okay, here we go. So that's when it gets hard, is when
And they
it's the same
can't
shit.
find it on their phone. They're like,
Never.
oh shit, they're like, there's a
Never.
dick pic, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And they're flipping through their
And
shit.
their phone's all cracked and broken. You're like, dude, I can't. Like, for me, it's squats or something. They're like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
check it out. I did 405.
It's 100%
Like, I
the
don't
same
fucking
thing.
care.
And then
Yeah.
do
Be honest with you.
they shake your hand like 10 times? Like, dude, just thank you so much.
Well,
and then, like,
That's
see you
always
later.
a tough
Yeah.
transaction.
Like
How many
they-
times you shake the hand?
They either shake your hand like 10 times, or they don't stop shaking your hand. And you're like, hey, man, like, we got to fucking move forward.
Yeah, we have to let go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they get emotional about the let go, which is also weird.
What about the clammy hands and the dead fish hand, like the dead
So-
handshake?
I get the dead fish handshake from a lot of big guys. And I make it a policy now. I call people out on it. I'm like, what the fuck is that,
You
man?
say, are you serious?
Yeah, like, this isn't acceptable. I'm not taking a picture with you if you don't come back and give me a handshake like a man. I mean, sometimes they take it the right way. Sometimes they get a little embarrassed. Hopefully they change their life after that, because that's unacceptable to
the way
shake
you
a man's
do-
hand like that.
The way you do anything's the way you do everything, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I usually call people out on
I
that.
think we should switch to bowing. It's just easier. It's a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
We don't have to make any contact. Just a little bit of a, like, I recognize,
pretty-
real.
It's
Yeah.
way more sanitary.
I think if
Yeah.
you really
Elbow,
want to live
maybe
a
just a
higher
fucking-
way, I think bowing would be great.
Yeah, I agree.
Really respectful.
Yeah.
I always have to say, I can't say nice to meet you, because I always fuck that up. They're like, oh, we met 3 times. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
oh man. I'm
I say
sorry,
that every
bro.
single time, and probably 20% of the time they're like, well, I met you a year ago.
Yeah, just say great to see you
for
and just leave it
13
at that.
seconds, and I can't believe you don't remember me. And I'm always like, sorry, I'm fucking stupid. I just go right to that one. They're like, oh, okay, you're good. And it makes it easier.
You're like, I'm half retarded.
Yeah,
so,
they're
don't,
totally fine with it by then.
don't mind me. How'd this Diesel Brothers thing come to be? Because getting on TV is not easy.
No, it's not.
A lot of
easy.
people are trying, especially like with the popularity of reality TV shows.
So it's a semi-long story, but it's crazy. So Diesel Dave, who's on the show, is one of my best friends. We went to junior high together. We always were really good friends. And then I actually was a missionary. I was an LDS missionary in Seattle.
Wow.
I came back at 21 and kind of reconnected with
You're like
Diesel
26, 27 now? How old are you?
32.
Oh, 32.
Yeah. And came back, kind of met up with Diesel Dave again, and he had since then met Heavy D, and they became really good friends.
Cool.
And they were both doing what I was doing, which was, building companies or building businesses, but they were always back to the root of building trucks that they liked, like just personally. And then obviously you build enough trucks, people are like, fuck, man, I like that. I want to buy one, And so in 2012, we kind of all met up, and that's when I kind of met Heavy D, and he was like, dude, check this out. This is what we're doing. We are showing the world that you can monetize Facebook. And I was like, that sounds stupid, but okay. It was right after MySpace and whatever. And so we started going around to companies and being like, hey, pay us some money and we will show you how you can make money on social media. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. It doesn't make any sense. Stupid. So we started a website just previous to any of that called Diesel Trucks for Sale on Facebook. And it blew up overnight. 100,000 followers within the first few weeks, then 200,000 followers. And we thought, dude, there's got to be a way you can make money from this. So, we went door to door, whatever you want to call it, to these companies. And we're like, let us show you how to make money. You pay us and we're going to get you to, essentially sell your products through social media. Everybody thought we were crazy. Everybody. So
how are you suggesting that they make money? Because of how popular your Facebook thing was,
yes,
and then you need parts, right? So all these companies should be.
It wasn't necessarily specific just to diesel trucks. It was just anybody, and
it was specific to you guys.
Yes,
and the popularity that I understand.
And so this Heavy D was like, "Here's what we're gonna do. We're going to give a truck away for free, and we could lose our ass, but the way to enter in to win is people have to buy our clothing. And every dollar they spend, they get one entry in to win a truck." Well, he set all this up, did this whole thing. I mean, mind you, we're 24, 25, and we decide that we're going to take a $75,000 truck and give it away for free, which none of us could afford to give away a truck for free. And the way I say it's for free is to make it legal in every state. You have to allow people to enter for free. And that's a mail-in entry. So literally, Heavy D came out with 4 shirt designs, a rubber band that said Diesel Power Gear, and a sweatshirt that said Diesel Power Gear, and was like, let's through our Facebook, let's tell people we're giving this truck away for free, and let's see if we can sell some product to get people to enter in to win for free. And we did the first giveaway. I think it was a 12-week, a 3-month giveaway, and I think we sold like $700,000 worth of product.
Jesus.
First time. Like literally Heavy D, Diesel Dave in a garage packing, $700,000 worth of shirts that they had just printed, and a rubber band that was $1 that said Diesel Power Gear. They sold 100,000 of them. And from that point, it was like, holy shit, dude, this is a real idea. And social media is real. Like, we can really make a lot of money off social media. That's when I came on with Heavy D and said, dude, listen, let's start making money with dieselsellers.com, which was our website. And that was an online classifieds for diesel trucks. Everybody all over the nation knows that I can get a truck cheaper in Texas than you guys can here in California. So if it's
just your area code, right? Taxes and things
exactly.
like that, right?
And it's just the need for things. Like a 4-wheel drive truck here isn't nearly as expensive as it is where someone needs it with snow. So if I could save you 10 grand, you sure as hell would ship it for $1,000. So if I can connect all those people, which is what we thought, we could really blow the website up. So we started that website, the dieselsellers.com, and then I started selling ad space and all that, and all of a sudden Diesel Sellers started blowing up. So we did that, and we did those truck giveaways, and I think we did 4 truck giveaways. And by our last one, I think we did $1 million in sales. Shit. It was crazy, fucking crazy. And that's when the Discovery Channel came to us, and they were like,
"Hey, they just somebody saw something."
So this is the other crazy story. So we did, in fact, you can pull stuff up on YouTube.
I love this kind of stuff. I love like the making.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
So go to YouTube and go Diesel Dave prank.
Fucking Heavy D.
So
Can't believe it.
so we did this skit where, let's see, it is that second one that says twin turbo Cummins. So just watch this clip. Okay, so we do this clip. I don't know if you guys can hear it or if we can get the sound.
Yeah,
I can.
Yeah, we can get the sound.
Okay, so you got to watch this. So essentially, we do these right in 2013 to get more viewers to go to Facebook, so we can get more followers on Facebook, right? Well, this is our buddy Rockwell, Rich. You know Rockwell, the Watches. We're really good friends with them.
Yeah.
Well, he was in taking a
dump?
shit in the bathroom, and Diesel Dave and us, we rolled up in one of our diesel trucks.
Oh no.
And we're like, you know what? We're going to fucking fill his whole room up with black smoke, right? So we filmed this whole skit of us pulling up. This is Diesel Dave right here. You can see.
Paying a little visit to the guys in Rockwell here on April Fools. Come on, show you.
Oh God.
And he's in there taking a shit, and we've...
Johnny's in there taking his 2 o'clock dump.
Of course he's taking a dump, right?
Yeah. And we have one of their guys lock the door from the outside, so he can't get out.
Wait,
and
did he know this was happening?
no, he had
This
no
is
idea.
legit? Oh,
This is legit.
God.
This
But
was
he
a legit...
legitimately always takes a shit at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So he didn't even know he's on camera taking a dump.
I mean, he does at this point because we pop a camera in.
Oh, yeah.
And now we fill the whole fucking bathroom full of black smoke, right?
Have you guys fucked with each other previously like this? Or
No, this was the first one.
So
right?
he's kind of like, really, like, what the fuck?
So yeah, he's pissed as
Hey, you guys don't
shit.
get any ideas.
Like, dude, now look at his face when he comes out. He like this shit. I mean, it gets everywhere. He's got black smoke all over his face. He's got it. Dude, he was pissed. So we do this skit, right?
Oh
God.
This video.
His eyes are burning.
Oh, dude, he's pissed. He does this video, and I mean, dude, overnight this video had like 2 million views.
Yeah.
It just blew up.
Dicks.
So then what happens is, and you can see the next one. I think the next YouTube video is him trying to get us back. Now you're gonna see me when I look really young. If you back out, there's one more. And the reason I'm showing you this is because
I think it's important.
These 2 skits, let me see. It should be, it's that one. It's that top one. Okay. Don't make fun of me because I look real young here with no beard and goofy. So he tries to get us back. You got to kind of watch this. And when he goes to get us back, we have an inside. We know he's trying to get us back.
Yeah.
And this skit legitimately could have killed him. So, and you can kind of see. So he says, hey, I'm going to get these guys back. I'm going to go take one of their new giveaway trucks, and I'm going to steal it from them. I'm going to put it on my flatbed, like he's saying right here.
Yeah.
So he's literally thinking we went to lunch and left our truck here at his shop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we knew that he was going to do this to us. So we're like, all right, fuck you, man. Here we go. If you're going to do that, here's what we're going to do. So then this is us. There's me, Diesel Dave, Heavy D. And we decide that we're going to get him with paintballs right before he hooks our truck up.
That shit hurts.
Well, in the middle of this, Heavy D's like, dude, go pull the pin on his cab over, and we're going to make him slam on his brakes and throw the whole cab up over.
Holy shit.
And, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so goofy, whatever. And this is him explaining, oh, I'm going to get the Diesel brothers right here. He has no idea. Obviously, we got all this footage afterwards because he was thinking he was going to have this cool video of us pranking him, you know, and him getting us back.
Last year.
Well, so he comes to get us and take the truck, and you'll see here in a second, Heavy D, me, Diesel Dave run out with paintballs, and we start shooting him with paintballs before he can get our truck onto his, like, you know, whatever he's pulling
So
it
he
with.
just keeps getting screwed.
Oh, dude, he's so pissed. And you got to watch the end of this because I feel so bad. So right here, we pulled the pin on his cab over.
Oh my God. And then how did you guys get tipped off to know that he was going to do this?
One of the girls there had a crush on Diesel Dave, and she told us.
That's hilarious.
So this is
Got
right
an
here,
insider.
and you can kind of play the music now, or play the sound.
yeah.
So
Amazing.
This is very reminiscent of Jackass.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and this is really, and I'll show you why we got our show. It was from this.
Yeah, they were thinking these guys are already doing this shit. Why not put it on TV.
Exactly. And so
It's a nice WRX right there.
So we started doing this, and Jay Leno saw it. He saw this video and the last video, and Jay Leno was like, "Hey, man, I got to have Diesel Dave on my show."
Jay Leno,
So-
never heard of him.
Yeah. So Jay Leno had Diesel Dave out on the show, and you'll see right here because this is where it's funny. So he goes to actually really get us going, like to take the truck. So he jumps in the truck. This is the worst, dude. I felt so bad after this. So I have a tire behind the trailer that I throw out in front of him. Watch this. Boom! The whole cab flips up.
Oh, he hit his
over.
head pretty bad. It looked like.
Oh yeah.
he
dude,
probably
he-
didn't. He probably didn't have a seatbelt on because he didn't
That's
have time
the
to throw.
first thing that he says. Watch.
Oh man.
Somebody still shot him again.
Y'all are cold.
Yeah, we're
Could have been paralyzed. They're still shooting him.
so yeah, dude. We're stupid. We're so stupid, and you can see it. And now he finds out that it's a joke. He's like, "You motherfuckers!" So they throw him. You know,
That actually probably helped that he thought it was a joke because he's probably actually very scared, like something shitty happened, and maybe the whole thing's on fire.
for
right?
sure. Well, and of course, guess what we had to do? We bought a new truck because we fucked the whole truck up, dude. It messed everything up. Like, so. We do these two videos. Obviously, these videos, because they're fun to watch. You know, like here I am throwing a tire in front. Like, look at that shit. It's crazy. Right there, I was like, oh, shit. That probably wasn't supposed to happen. Back in the day, you know, YouTube was the way to get views, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, we sent those views to Facebook, and then all of a sudden we started gaining more followers, you know, so on and so forth. So because of these things, Jay Leno saw us. He had us out on the show. They showed these clips, and that's when the Discovery Channel was like, I don't know who you guys are, but we want to do it. And you know what we said? We're fucking good. We don't want to do it with you guys.
'Cause you're already making money,
Exactly. And
which is a great position to be in.
In our mind, we were famous.
Right.
Because no one was really social media famous.
You don't
yet.
need the
And-
restrictions of the Discovery Channel.
Exactly.
What
And
year was this?
Yeah,
this
that's
was
what it is.
2000,
15, 14.
no, 13.
Oh, early.
12, 12, 13. So the company started in 12.
Yeah, because you're going to have to sign contracts, and then things start to get weird,
yeah.
and then you make X amount, but your buddy makes this, and
Exactly.
it gets to be really quick. Really quickly, it gets to be really weird, right?
Yes. So we did that. Jay Leno saw us. They came out. Discovery Channel came after us for a full year. And finally, Heavy D was like, what do you think? And I'm like, dude, if we're going to make money, let's do it. Well, I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. And at this point, I had now started hearing from people about how they were trying to get a reality show. And I'm like, shit, you guys are trying? We got them coming to us. So we almost thought it was bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, some of it, the first email they sent us, we're like, fuck this guy. Like, he's full of shit. The Discovery Channel. So finally we do it. They come out. Discovery comes out. They give us a full week, and we go full stupid for a week, dude. We had a helicopter stunt. We did a truck flip. We did all kinds of stupid shit, and nothing about the actual company was in it. Like the truck giveaways. It was just us being stupid with whatever we do, because that's what we do. And so our first season, they were like, well, how do you guys want to do this? And we're like, well, we build trucks and we give them away for free. And they're like, oh, no, we don't like that model. We'll have you guys build trucks and we'll write the story, and you guys just kind of do what we tell you with the story.
They were going to make it like a travel show kind
Yeah.
of thing. You guys fuck around. I get it.
And we were like, nah, we don't want to do that. We're good. Thanks. Leave. And they were like, who are these fucking guys? You know, like they thought we were crazy. And then we started filming, and dude, filming was so crazy. And Mark knows this. I don't know much about your background, but like being on camera is different, you know? And so we start doing all this shit, and they start filming us, and all of a sudden our season comes out. And dude, our first episode to this day is the highest rated episode Discovery has ever had for a premiere. So it broke every record they ever had.
Hell yeah.
And you know
so many
why?
people knew about you?
It's because of social media. Because we were already had 1 million followers on social media. So you know what we did? We did our own advertising.
Well, why is The Rock the #1 actor in the world? Because of social media, right?
Exactly.
Like it's been, obviously he works really hard for the position that he got himself into, but the self-promotion has helped a ton.
100%. So we had that. We did our first 8, and it went like wildfire. And now we're in season. So our new season will be December 9th. So in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It'll be season 5, and right now we're the #1 show on Discovery Channel, and it's crazy. Like we went to Nsima and we did the whole thing with Discovery, and they treat us like we're the greatest thing in the world because we have ratings that keep going up and up and up. And a lot of shows right now aren't doing very well. I don't know what that is. I would love to profess that I have an idea why our show does better, but it's now put us in a position where we kind of get to do whatever the fuck we want to do. And social media is great now, but because of TV being world renowned, or whatever you want to call it, is way different.
For people that haven't seen the show, what does a typical show look like now?
So the typical show, they're all fairly the same layout. So you'll see Diesel Dave and myself, the muscle. We're throughout the show about 60-70%. We'll find a customer that wants a build. Heavy D will figure out what the build is. He'll map it out. Diesel Dave and I will build that with the shop guys. And then at the end of the show is when we reveal the truck itself to the new owner. Right. And then obviously to America. And they're always insane. Like they're just, they're not just a, hey, cool, lift wheels and tires. They're insane shit.
No, I've seen the things you guys built, like buses and, all kinds of different trucks.
Boats,
and
helicopters.
And
I mean,
wow.
dude, we did a diesel bicycle. We did a diesel motorcycle, a diesel helicopter. We're doing a diesel boat in this season. There's a lot of stuff that we've done. In fact, this is our monster truck. This is one of our ads. So we did this monster truck, and it's more like a mutter. But we just do stupid
Is that
stuff.
the truck that like Brooke Wells and those people were trying to get into?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So for people that don't know, real quick, what is like diesel versus normal
diesel
stuff?
is, and it's really simple. So you have gasoline, right?
Yeah.
Diesel is a byproduct of gasoline.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy because sometimes diesel is more expensive than gasoline. Kind of crazy. Well, the whole idea is diesel burns differently than gas does, right? So like if I took a match and lit gas up, you guys know it's going to go up. If I do that with diesel, it won't go up. It takes a lot higher temperatures to get it to burn. So essentially you get more torque and power.
Okay.
You obviously have more heat, but you get more torque and more power out of a motor that's running on diesel than you would out of a motor running on gas.
Got it.
And what especially Europe has found is diesel is more efficient. So I can take a diesel truck and do 40 miles to the gallon, and I can take a gas truck and do 12 miles to the gallon. It's very different. So diesel in and of itself is just more effective and efficient.
Okay.
It's amazing because they used to think that gasoline was useless. The kerosene was used in every home to light like lanterns and things like that. And they were like, we have this waste, got this waste product, and now the cars are running on it. What do you think about a car like a Tesla?
I love them.
Yeah.
I think they're cool.
I think that's an amazing thing, like that they have. They put a body of work out there that car lovers enjoy as well, because I've heard that from many people that love cars. I think in the beginning when electric cars were coming around, people were like, come on, what the hell is this? Like, things going to go 30 miles an hour? Are you kidding me? How long is it going to last for?
But the thing is like there's so much advancement that can come from that. I mean, listen, I love diesel, but if we could get rid of fossil fuels, that would be awesome. I'm not the guy that's like, oh, fuck you, diesel, like, listen, I'm all
We
for
got to keep it old school.
Yeah, that's stupid. I'll always have something with diesel or gas, but that doesn't mean that my daily life can't be improved by something that's better. And although the Tesla has a long ways to go, they're awesome, dude. I mean, I'm sure you've ridden the P100D with the ludicrous mode on it. I mean, they're insane fast. They're fun to drive, so I think they're cool. They're actually coming out with a truck.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And I'm excited to see
I
how
think
that
they're
does.
doing self-driving like semi trucks and shit too.
They are, and they're unreal with power and how far they can go.
That will be really. I mean, that'll be super common. It's like not long before that's just you see it
100%.
everywhere.
It makes more sense.
Have you always been into cars?
Yeah, man. Since I was young, I've always been into everything with a motor.
Did that come from like an uncle or your dad or like where did that come from? Somebody in the family, or it just came from your own interest?
It might sound crazy, but I think that some of that is genetics. I really do. So my great grandfather lived in Oregon, and he owned the biggest car scrapyard in Oregon. And when he died, The scrapyard was at his house. When he died, I think they sold his scrapyard for like $5 million because it was all of old like shit you couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
He was a huge collector in vehicles. And then, of course, you know, my uncles, my brothers, like everybody kind of just attached to something that had to do with a motor. And now, like, I mean, you name it. If it has a motor, I love it. I drive it. I use it. I improve it. I get fucking crazy on it. So
How about the business side of things? Because like you said that you were building businesses before you got with your homies. So like how long were you doing that and what got you involved in that? Because that was like before you were 24, 23, right?
yeah, so I got back from being a missionary at 21, and I was like, I want to be a doctor. Fuck. So I went to college. I played a little bit of football. You know, we talked before we even started this podcast about me going to jail. I actually did play football in college, and then I went to jail for a little while, which I was like, this is stupid.
Let's
But-
explain the jail thing before
Yeah,
we
I'm
carry
curious
on.
about that.
Okay, so this was when I was 18. I played at a junior college called Snow College. They're well known because they have a lot of like national championships, whatever. Long story short, we were at a party one night. A girl there was actually raped and beaten up.
Jesus
And
Christ.
yeah, we didn't know anything about it. But the next morning, I have an adopted Polynesian brother who I actually had met there.
Maybe that explains the tattoos.
It does, yeah. Also, like a lot of my family and the people that I
Friends
spend
and
time
stuff,
with
yeah.
are Polynesian. Him and I were playing football at the time there, and we were out at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and this girl had come out and seen us and told us what had happened. So him and I went to this kid's house. We kicked the door down and beat the fucking shit out of this kid.
Good.
Yeah, but legally you're not supposed to do those kinds of things. We went to football practice that day. They showed up, picked us up in our pads, handcuffed us, took us, and they didn't know anything, right? The police know is that two big dudes kicked in a door and beat the shit out of somebody. I mean, and it was pretty bad. Like we beat the shit out of him. So anyway, so we went to jail, and my brother was only 17. So they took him to juvie, and he's huge. He's like 6'3", 390.
Jesus.
Like, huge. Anyway, so after that, I was like, that's when I was 18. And I
Was
was
that
like,
your brother I sent some stuff to?
no, different brother.
okay.
Different brother. After that, I left, and I was like, you know what, dude, I got to get my shit together. I'm going to be a missionary. So I was like, all right, man, I'm going to go be a missionary for the church. So I went to Seattle for 2 years, and I was a missionary for the Mormons, you know. So then I came back, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a doctor. I want to do all these crazy cool things. My dad had passed away from diabetes, type 1 diabetes, like 2 months after I had gotten home, and he had suffered with it forever. So like always in the back of my mind, I was like, I got to do something that's going to make a change, you know?
He probably
So-
had it from when he was a kid. 'cause
Yeah,
that's
from when he
usually
was
it
8.
shows up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did the pre-med thing, and I was like, dude, and everybody I talked to, kind of like power lifters, everybody I talked to was like, don't fucking do it, dude. Don't fucking do it. And I was like, what? You're a doctor. You're making all this money. They're like, no, dude, it's not worth it. Don't do it. And dude, I'm not kidding. I would go to work because I worked in a neonatology research lab. I'd go to work and I'd work with some of the like most world-renowned doctors.
Yeah.
And they were like, bro, you want to make money? Don't be a doctor. And so I was like, oh man, this is not good. So I left and I became a personal trainer, and I started a gym in kind of in my area.
You started the gym.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like we literally went there, and day one was doors open, like, you know, kind of crazy. And I ran that place for like, it was probably 2 years. And then I was like, you know what? I think it's time to do more gyms. So we opened up 4 more gyms in Utah. And then I had a partner, and he kind of, to be nice, he fucked me. I mean, I was young. I was 22 years old. I didn't know anything. And so when it was time for me to like get my ownership from the other places that we had started, it was like, oh, no, we don't need you anymore. So I left. 23 years old. I bought my first house. I was having my first kid. My wife didn't work. So I was like, fuck, dude, what am I going to do? So I started a company called Moffit. It was called Moffit for mobile fitness. And I would literally train people in their house. So I would take, kettlebells, TRX, BOSU balls, train people in their house. Well, I had built such a following of like trainers and fitness people that I had trainers that were like, hey, I don't want to work at the gym anymore. I want to come work for you. So literally by I think year 1, I had 8 trainers working from 5 a.m. till 8 o'clock at night.
Oh shit.
It was nuts, dude. And to this day, I have not made more money than when I was 23. I was getting people paying in cash anywhere from $75,000 to $150,000 just in cash. And Mark knows, like I said, I don't know much about your background, but $150,000 in cash is like $500,000 in a salary because after they take taxes and all that other bullshit. So we started killing it. And then I opened up, which was kind of like a sports center and or gym. It was huge, a 75,000 square foot gym. Yeah, that was insane. Like everything, basketball courts, soccer fields, like all kinds of stuff. And I was young still. I was 20. I was 25. The partner that I did it with was 65, multimillionaire. And we did that for about 2 years. And in the middle of that, so I was 25, I was like, I got to keep going. I have this mentality. If I'm not moving forward, I feel like I almost feel like I get sick. Like I can't deal with it. So,
that business, was it 100% just like word of mouth, or was there any social?
All word of mouth.
No social media or anything?
No social media because it was pre-2011. There really wasn't anything out there social media wise. And it was before we had done this. So this is funny. I pay for dental insurance for like 7 years. I'd never gone to the dentist. I was 26. I'm like, fuck, I better go to the dentist. Yeah. I go into the dentist. I'm thinking, fuck, dude, I've had dental insurance for 7 years. Should be fine. I go in there. They're like, oh, you're good. No cavities, nothing. I've never had cavity. Like, it's totally fine. I leave, and the lady's like, how do you want to pay your bill? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, my bill? She's like, well, it's $250. And I'm like, what? I've been paying dental insurance for 7 years.
Right.
And I got to pay $250 for a checkup because I'm good. She's like, yeah, I know, it's crazy. So, so I go home.
You're like, that doesn't fucking help.
No, so I go home and I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm going to take the whole world of personal training and I'm going to make it into a business model. And personal training now in gyms, right, is month to month. You pay month to month for your sessions or whatever. So I'm like, fuck it, dude, I'm going to just try this. So I go back to the dentist who my brother knew. So it was like a friend of a family member. And I was like, dude, I got to sit down with you. I want to show you how to make money. And he was like, I'm a dentist, bro. I make $700,000 a year. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be back. So we come back, sit down, and I'm like, dude, you clock in, you clock out. Let me do everything else. I'm going to get rid of dental insurance. People are going to come in, and when they have an issue, we're going to diagnose the issue, fix the issue, and then they're going to pay for it over the next year, like a membership, like a gym membership almost, right? And he was like, that's fucking stupid. And I was like, okay, man, I appreciate it. Just roll with me. Like, just try it, you know? So we opened up a dental office, and we like had herds of people coming in. You know why? Because most people don't have dental insurance, and most people don't have any money to get dental work done, because dude, dental work can be anywhere from 5 to 10 grand. Mm-hmm. But if I come to you and I say, hey, dude, over the next 15 months, you're going to pay that $8,000 bill and we're going to take care of you for the whole year, you sign up, right? So I hook you on a contract for 15 months. You pay your dental bill, yada, yada, yada. So I started a dental office with this whole like gym membership thing. I even called it Club Dental. That's the name of the company, Club Dental. Like crazy.
And how much was like a membership or whatever?
So a membership was $19.99 a month, and that covered cleanings, x-rays. It covered all the normal shit. But the second that you went in and you had an issue, we would tell you the issue, tell you how much it's going to cost, and then we would just tack that onto a monthly basis.
Which they never do.
Never.
Like, how come there's not a fucking price there? Like when you go to a restaurant, it says it's, you know, $25 for the steak or whatever, right?
Exactly.
It's right there. You can
and see it. You get a pick. So what I started finding out, because I know nothing about dental, what I started finding out was that people, instead of getting work done, were just having their teeth pulled out because that was the cheapest option. But they had so much pain, they couldn't give you $2,000, but they'd be like, fuck, just take it out. So we started going to these people, and we were like, dude, hey, dude, your work's $6,000, 15 months. That's $300 a month. You can do that. Yes, I can. Done. Sign up. Done. And over the first 6 months, it just kind of blew up. And my dentist was like, dude, I've never seen this many people walk through my door in my life. And I'm talking to you about a dentist who, even to this day, is probably one of the best dentists in Utah. So I did that. I started it. And then that's obviously about the time when I met with these guys and we started doing Diesel Brothers. Well, my ex-wife, my wife at the time, had just had our first kid. She's like, I want a breast augmentation. I'm like, well, I can't complain about that. Let's do it. So we went into a plastic surgery clinic. Went in there. They told me, you know, the prices, and I'm like, whatever, this is stupid. And so I left and I called the doctor and I'm like, hey man, I want to start a plastic surgery clinic and I want you to be my doctor. I will make you more money than you've ever made. He's like, dude, I make $1.2 million a year. I'm like, okay, cool, man. I'll meet with you on Monday. Like, I don't fucking care. We went back and he had already done my wife's breast augmentation. I sat down with him. I'm like, bro, like, how many kids, girls, are you missing out on that don't have good credit, can't get a credit card, mom and dad won't pay for breast augmentation? He's like, oh, every day, all day long. I service 10%. I said, well, what if we do this idea where over 15 months they pay for breast augmentation? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't think it'll work. And I said, what's your upfront cost, you know? Oh, it's $1,000. Okay, cool. $1,000 down, $399 a month. We'll get them signed up in a contract, breast augmentations, and we'll turn them and burn them, right? He was like, I don't think it's going to work, you know, so on and so forth. Well, we opened, and I think one of our first month or two, we did 65 breast augmentations. At $7,000 a pop, that's a shitload, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, that all of those things were going on when we started Diesel Brothers. And then we got so booked out with filming. I mean, even now, dude, I film Monday through Friday all day. And I started all of those things, and my partners in those things were like, dude, I need more time. I need more time. I need more time. And I just got to the point where I was like, I don't have enough time to give you, so buy me out. So essentially I got bought out of those companies, focused a lot on Diesel Brothers, and then started a few other companies, which obviously now I run. But like, that's kind of how my whole, all the way up to where I'm 30, you know, now. So long story.
How did you have that mindset to do some of these things? Like, a lot of people are really scared and nervous to like try, you know, people are scared and nervous just to try something new that could be small, like going on a 10-minute walk or something.
Yeah.
Like, is that from family or something?
No,
or
I got to a place in my life where I was ridden with anxiety all the time. And anxiety comes from fear, right? Like fear of the future, fear of something. And I literally, dude, I got to a place, I think when I was about 28, when I remember too, because I was like, I'm fucking done with being afraid of everything. And I was, dude. I was afraid of everything. Like, dude, my kids would get sick and I'd be like, holy shit, they're going to die. This is it. This is fucking over. You know, or someone would come to me with a business opportunity. I'm like, no, it's stupid. I'll never have enough money. Like, I got to a place at 28 where I literally was like, fuck fear. I'm just going to go to work.
Like, how were you afraid? Because like, you already did so much up until that point. Like, it seems like
that's what
feels
so
like
crazy,
you're fearless.
Man. I mean, dude, and you guys know this because you're in the gym. You see people with body dysmorphia, right? And there you're like, wait, you're upset that you're 7% body fat instead of 4%?
And they're like, oh yeah, I'm super fat right now. And they're
and it doesn't make any sense. But to me, it made sense. Like, I was always fucking afraid of everything, man. I was nervous that the worst case scenario was going to happen. And I literally, I think I was right about 28. I literally was like, fuck fear, man. I'm going to work. I don't give a fuck anymore.
But some of that fear is definitely something that drove you too, to like be organized, to get up off your ass.
The anxiety.
You know? Yeah.
For sure. Like,
for
anxiety is a good thing.
For some people, it cripples them. For some people, it leaves them on the couch, you know? So for you, it was a driving force.
And that's the thing. Like, when I talk with people now, you know, like, we get the chance to do a lot of motivational stuff and podcasts. Like, my thing with people now, I could give you a million pieces of advice, but my advice is to stop making fucking decisions based on fear. If you're making decisions based on fear, it's the wrong decision. I promise. Every time. You could tell me any story you want. If it's based around fear, why you're not or are doing something, it's the wrong fucking decision. And that's how I've led everything I do now.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't want to go too deep on this, but I'm still so curious because, like, you managed to build all these businesses. You didn't go to business school or anything. Who around you, like, was it just you had an idea, you went for it, or did anybody in your life, were they building businesses and you're like, I can do that type of shit?
Was there like a mentor or something like that?
No. And I always strongly advise people to have some kind of help, but I didn't. To this day, I've never actually borrowed money from anyone except for to buy my houses, you know.
Yeah.
I've never had an investor. I've never had someone come out and help me with money. So it's kind of like, if I can do this with the money in my pocket, and I never had money. I mean, like I keep reverting back to when I was a missionary, but dude, when you go on a mission for 2 years, your parents help pay for you to go and like be a minister for 2 years. When I got back, I had $6 in my account. I mean, I remember I was like, hey mom, I'm going to need some money to even keep this account open. I had nothing. And when my dad died, all of that money went into all of the bills of health problems for 7 years. So none of us really got any money from my dad. So literally I started from nothing, and I didn't have the ability to find money. So I had to do everything without it. And I think the idea of like worry about every fucking thing, every scenario gets you to a place where you can go, oh fuck, I can do that because I've thought the worst case of on all of these and I can fucking do it. You know, but no, dude, I don't have anybody, and I didn't then, that had started companies. Like my dad, bless his heart, he was successful. He probably made $250,000 a year. Like he was successful. He was the CEO of a big government contracting firm. He used to pound into my head, you need to go to school. You need to get a 9 to 5. You need to, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you want to be successful, if you want to have a retirement, yada, yada. My dad died at 47. His company that he was CEO of kicked him out after he got too sick. And you know what all of us saw? And when I say us, I have 4 other siblings. I'm the oldest boy of 4 boys and 1 girl. Every single one of us are the same. Not one of us work a 9 to 5 because we listened to my dad tell us the safe route, and then we watched him die at 47 and go, fuck, that wasn't safe.
Yeah.
And so we're like, fuck this, dude. We're going to do whatever we want to do. And that's, I think, where my personality comes from, and the idea of having like an entrepreneur mindset of like, no, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do, and I'm going to build whatever I want to build. I'm not working for anybody. I just don't want to do it, you know, because I watched that with my dad.
Yeah, and there really is no job security. You know, I think people used to go to college, and then from college they would start a job, and they would be with that company for a really long time, and then they would have like a retirement plan, and that's the way things used to be. But they don't really work that way anymore. People don't even have the ability to really retire anymore.
No.
People have to continue working.
100%. The thing that I always tell people, like, look, if I'm 17 again, I'm going to work for a company, and by the time you finish school and $100,000 in debt, I'm going to be the manager, and I'm going to be making $75,000 a year. It's a fucking better choice.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of school. Now, with that said, I also am the person that says you need to qualify yourself before you become something. If I want to be a pro wrestler, then I don't fucking need school. I need to go practice being a pro wrestler. If I want to be a doctor, I got to go to school to be the best doctor.
A skill set.
Yes. So it's not that I'm anti-school. I'm anti 99% of people going for no fucking reason other than just going to school.
Because mom and dad said so.
Exactly, which is what we see.
What about like tinkering with shit, you know, like messing around with cars all the time, and the fascination of like, I wonder if I did this, I can make it more powerful or faster. This would be a cool improvement. Do you think that plays into a lot of this business stuff?
You know, this is what's crazy, and I don't think I've ever said this on the air or in front of people, but I'm not really that mechanically inclined. Like I am, but I'm not in a garage with a fucking truck wrenching. I'm not. I oversee the whole project. I make the calls on all the projects. I know the ins and outs of everything of that truck and all of those things, but I'm not the person that's in there with the wrenches. He works for me. He works for me. But when I was younger, I had the thought of, I want this to be cooler and I want to do something with it, and I don't mind taking it apart, but I wasn't necessarily the guy like my brother. Dude, he used everything we'd get, lawnmowers, motors, shit would be apart in our garages. And even now, he's not a mechanic, but you know, he does stuff with trucks. But like, I don't know if it was necessarily that play of like taking things apart or just wanting something to work for what my imagination was telling me that I wanted. And I think that's where I am now. I'm like, dude, my imagination tells me I just want to fucking be happy and have some money. So what do we got to do to get there?
It's very reminiscent of like Steve Jobs where he wasn't like the technical guy, but he knew kind of what he wanted things to look like, and he had everybody do the technical stuff. But he's like, make it look like this. You know, he had the big ideas
for sure.
Sounds like that.
And if you guys watch the show, I'm like the parts guy on the show. That's what they call me, as the parts guy, because I get all the parts and everything, which is actually true. Like when we first started, the way to pay for something, like if I come to you and I give away a truck that's $100,000, I would really like to have that truck be as cheap as possible. So we started going to companies and saying, hey, we will advertise your products on our trucks that we give away, and people will use your products, but you got to give us your products for free. So I started working deals like that. So all of a sudden we would build a $100,000 truck, and it would only cost us the truck. Rather than the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of parts. And that's kind of where a lot of it came in. It was wheeling and dealing. It was trades. It was, how do I hustle to get this $8,000 transmission that we don't have cash to pay for, but make them happy enough to give it to us, you know? Which essentially is my role on the show too. So
this explains why you have a hard time sleeping. Because your mind sounds like it's racing
all the time.
You have a lot of other ideas and stuff. What's something that you haven't gotten to yet that you maybe want to do? So
one thing that I really want to do, and this will, I might get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna be doing a spinoff. We haven't decided the name, but Discovery Channel essentially has come to me just like they did before, and they said, we love you as a person and we love what you do. We want a show specifically around you.
Okay, you came here to ask me to be on the show. I told
them Mark, and they were like, I don't know, that guy's crazy, but maybe. So
I can go on the show. I can fast. I can drink coffee.
Yeah, and that's actually what most mechanics do, anyways. I mean, they just drink Mountain Dew and smoke cigarettes and fast. You know.
There we go.
But like, so they came and they asked, like, what do you want to do? What does it look like? And I essentially said, I don't care what we do, as long as it's based around giving back. And I think every person gets to a place in their life when they feel like they have succeeded enough that they can look outside of themselves. And it may be money, it may be time, I don't know what it is. A lot of times people just call it retirement, right? But I want to give back. So my next thing isn't about making money. It's not about becoming famous. It's not about any of those things. I want to be able to give back to more people somehow. And so that's what I told Discovery I wanted my show about. You know what they said? Oh, the charity thing doesn't really work good on the air. And I said, I don't fucking care. That's what I want to do. So if I'm going to do something for the show, it's going to be based around finding people across the nation that have a need that I can fill and make something cool. You know, when you were at SEMA, I debuted a truck for a guy who was a paraplegic. I built him a huge truck that the doors flipped open like a Lamborghini, the chair hydraulicked out and all the way to the ground so that he could get in from his wheelchair, pick him back up, put him in the truck, and he could drive off. Now, unbelievable. Like, it was one of the most cool experiences I've had pertaining to a build. And I thought, dude, this is the shit that I want to do if I'm going to do a show. Because I don't want people to watch me just for funsies, just because it's this big, dumb fucking idiot running around doing stupid shit. I want there to be a purpose. I can still be the dumb idiot, but be the dumb idiot that's giving back to people and helping people actually change their life. So that's where my brain is now.
That's cool. You found something that makes you feel the best. Like you've organized in your head. Like, I kind of like doing this. I kind of like doing this,
yeah,
but I fucking love doing this.
That's the picture of when I gave him the truck.
That's cool.
And he had seen it for the first time. Yeah. That was the debut. Dude, we both cried because it was so emotional. He was a full-on 9-to-5er in mines in Virginia, and a mine collapsed on him, crushed him two years ago. And they told him, you're never going to be able to move from the neck down. And he has since obviously been able to work a little bit of his hands. So he sent me his truck. His wife sent me, she's like, hey, I don't know how to get him up, but everything's been taken away from him, and I want him to be able to find happiness again. And I want you to build a truck. You know, this is his dream. And I'm like, fucking send the trunk out. Let's do it, you know? So we built it, did the whole thing. If you go, there's one other one, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see right there on the middle of that one. There you go. You see, if you look at the door flips up, the chair folds out.
Understanding this correctly, he already had a truck.
He did have a truck.
And then you guys made it fucking crazy.
Unreal for him to drive. And it's huge. It's a big truck that he can get in and out now from a wheelchair just because of that.
Man, that's brutal. He had a truck that he loved, and then all that shit was taken away from him. He couldn't get back in the car, right? Yeah.
And, you know, like coming from somebody like me who watched my dad slowly die, the worst thing for my dad was when his license got taken away. I remember he used to tell me, he's like, I don't care to live anymore, because it was almost like his freedom was taken.
Yeah.
And that's all I could keep thinking about for this guy. His name's John. Is I'm like, dude, like, it's one thing to be kicked in the fucking head, but like, give me something. And if I can't drive, then why am I still here? And I'm sure that's how he feels. So guess what? Now he gets to have the coolest truck in West Virginia, and he gets to drive it around and do whatever he wants in it. So my thought process on everything I do now from my life moving forward is, how can I help people, anyone, either become successful, find happiness, do better, progress, whatever it is. That's it. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't need to make any more money. I don't need any more fame. I don't fucking care if you follow me on social media or you see me on TV. I don't care about any of that stuff. The second I meet someone, the first thing I'm thinking is, how can I, in what I do, bless this person's life or help them become something better? And honestly, Mark, my life has been, it's great. I'm fucking happy all the time.
What caused that shift? Like, from what you were doing to giving, or having that feeling of always wanting to give back?
I think it was when I humbly sat down and was like, I don't really need anything.
Okay.
I want a lot of things. Like I want to look at a yacht out here actually while I was here, but like, I don't need anything anymore. Like, dude, if it all went to shit and I never worked again, I'd be okay. I don't have enough money to be like, oh, hey man, I got 10 houses for the rest of my life. But like, if all went to shit, I don't need anything anymore.
Well, and the things you need just change. Like, you need some good relationships. You need good health. You need to have fun, but like, you don't need like financial gain.
Things.
You don't need financial freedom. You need to worry about bills. And like, that's a huge, that really lifts a lot of weight off your shoulders.
And it gets you to where you can actually start thinking.
Hey, you can't
People
think
aren't
you're
fucking
under it.
thinking
No, you're
when
under
you're
it.
under it, dude.
Yeah,
You can't,
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know when that shift was.
Do you still help people with fitness?
I do. I actually do. So I
It
have
seems like a big passion for you.
one of my other companies that I own and I started. So you guys know I'm good friends with Rob and Dana Bailey. In fact, I'm best friends with them.
Dude, you were Rob Bailey better than Rob Bailey.
I was. I killed it.
I don't want to throw Rob
Listen,
under
if
the bus,
anybody's
but, like,
listening and they
but you
don't know
crushed
what we're
it.
talking about, go to my Instagram
We'll show 'em, right?
and look at. I killed it. I looked exactly like Rob. So I didn't tell Rob because they all came out to my house. You know, Brooke Ants, Rob,
Mm-hmm.
Julian, and I didn't tell any of them. And then I rolled out. Let's see. Go scroll back up.
Yeah, it's not too long ago.
Yeah, it was just, it's right there on the, yeah, right there. I'm Rob Bailey in the middle. I even got the hand. He's even posing in his Wolverine outfit like the way I'm posing. Look at, I mean, zoom up on that face, man. Dude, I shaved my beard and Discovery Channel was pissed. And I'm like, nah, I had to do it. You know, I put a man bun on.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
dude.
That's Rob Bailey right there.
Hell yeah, dude. And the longer the night went on, the better I got.
Was that the 4-degree Halloween party?
Yes, that was freezing at my house. It was unreal.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was fun.
So do you do like, and you own that fitness business, do you like still, I guess, do you help people out in any way, like directly?
Yes,
or?
100%. So I started my friendship with Rob and Dan. We've only been friends for like a year and a half, but we just became like so good friends. Cause like I don't have relationships anymore with people that I don't fucking love and adore. I just don't, dude. If we're friends, we're fucking family. There's nothing in between anymore. I don't do acquaintances. I don't do any of that shit. I just don't, dude. If we're friends, there's nothing I won't do for you. And you can ask any friend that you know. I mean, dude, you could call Annie Frizella, call Annie and say, hey, do you think Keaton would do it? Guarantee he'd be like, yeah, he will. Because those people that know me, I will do that for them. But essentially, like, I met with them and I was like, dude, this is kind of cool. The Dana Lynn Bailey, you know? I'm like, fuck, this is a great
DLB.
thing. Yeah. So I was like, I don't think people really want to fucking look like me, but I'll try it, you know? And surprisingly, dude, I have a whole demographic of redneck truckers, crazy guys that are so far removed.
You can get so many
from
people
your industry and
Right.
from Dana's industry that are like, dude, I fucking love the way you look. You're 6'3", 300 pounds. You look great. How do you do it?
You're 300?
Yeah, 290, 300. I'm between 290, 305. I don't know where I am today. When I fly, I always retain water. But so I started my own website. It was called muscleupdaily.com. And all I did was I took my routine, put it down, and then had my buddy, who's one of my really good friends, who we've always kind of been training partners, and he's probably one of the smartest trainers I've ever met. And I was like, dude, listen, I want you to help me write a new routine every day, and then I want you to come help me film myself working out so people know what the fuck we're doing. Because we're not talking about people that probably you deal with that are like, hey, Mark, I've been in the gym for 10 years. How do I get strong?
Yeah, how do I get to that 405 bench? I bench 375.
Exactly. And my demographic is, hey, man, I'm 400 pounds. I've never been to a gym, and I want to make some lifestyle changes. So that's what that is. And essentially, I think I started 4 months ago, and I charge $9 a month. You have access to everything. And then we do I think it's like $199. We do a one-on-one stuff, and that's where me and my other buddy kind of collaborate. 'Cause I'm like, I know what to do to help him, but I'm not going to sit and write this shit.
Right,
so
right.
he'll do it with me.
Yeah.
We started that 3 or 4 months ago, dude. I'm already drafting, I think, $10,000 a month of people that are just like, hey, man, we just want to follow your shit.
Right.
Cool.
You know? And it has been so fucking cool. I get messages every day now. In fact, I got one when I was flying here. Young kid, I think he's 19. He was like, hey, man, 2 months ago, you put up a post that said you will pay anyone $1,000 to lose 100 pounds. And I did that post. I don't even know what I was thinking. I was like, maybe this will help incentivize people.
Right.
And everybody was like, well, who are you going to pay? And I'm like, I will fucking pay every person in the world that loses 100 pounds. All you have to do, come and do my workouts on my website. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. So I start getting the message, but I get this message from this 18-year-old kid. He's like, I was 405 pounds when you posted that. I'm 336. He's like, I'm gonna come get that 1,000 in person. I said, fucking come get it, dude. When you hit that 100 mark, you come, I'll give it to you in person. So yeah, like I get this opportunity now to help people make change, like real changes. You know, and at the end of the day, people are like, well, it's a marketing ploy. Well, I'm not making any money on $9 a month if it takes you a year to lose 100 pounds.
Right.
I'm paying out of my own pocket. But if I can incentivize enough people to make changes, even if it's not 100 pounds, like I'm fucking winning.
Right.
You know? So fitness, always been a big thing. Always been something that I love. I work out all the time, do that thing. But essentially, like, I'm at that place now where I'm like, dude, if you want the experts, go to Mark. But if you want to start somewhere and you want to make some changes that you can't do on your own and you don't know where the fuck to even begin, come, let's go, dude. Let's do this.
It's an easy sell too. Like at a show, and someone's like, "Man, I don't know what to do." I mean, you can still give them some advice, but you can say, "Dude, just go here. Go to my website. All you got to do
$9 a month.
You can follow, because they're going to be like, "Well, what do? You got big arms and this and that, right?" Like, just go there.
And
it's
it's
$9.
simple. And dude, I always ask for feedback from people. I'm like, hey, do you feel like it was too expensive? Do you feel like it wasn't understandable? And pretty much the feedback is, dude, I love it. It's easy. It's simple. The workouts aren't easy, but like, I lay out a diet there and I do two. I do a bulking and a leaning so people can choose. Cause of course I get kids that are like, dude, you're 300 pounds. How do I get there? And I'm like, well, here's the bulking. You know?
Like, that was pretty easy for me.
Yeah, that's the easy part. Mine's the leaning part, you know? So I do that, and dude, I don't think there's anything I enjoy more than helping people change their physiology. Because I think if you want to change your mind, you got to change your physiology, right? And if you can really change someone's physiology and change their mind, you can change the world.
And I think change is really scary for people, but really all it is progress. You know, it's you're just making you're making small amounts of progress in a bunch of different areas. And I think something I think is really cool from somebody like yourself is the fact that you just had something that you were like really into from the time you were really young, and you kept that. And it's a good message for parents. Like parents, and I know you're a dad as well. Parents need to really try to have their children try a bunch of different stuff. And when I say try, I mean force.
Yeah.
You do have to force them sometimes. Hey, you got to, got to go to gymnastics, or you got to go to dance class, or whatever the hell it is that you're going to. They're going to be like, I don't want to go. I don't, you got to kind of force them, because they don't really know. They're young.
Yeah.
They're little kids,
You know
but you
what-
got to have them try a bunch of different stuff.
The thing is, I love that you said that. There's two pieces to that. Force your kids to do shit, and then support them when they make the decision that they don't want to do something.
Right.
And then, of course, if they do want to do it, you support them even more. I'm the same as you, dude. I tell my daughter, she's 8. She goes, this is not a joke. She has karate every other day, dance every other day, singing every other day, and then on Saturday she does horseback riding with me.
Wow.
And then did I
I've
say
seen some of the
karate?
pictures with
Yeah.
you guys and the horse and stuff. Pretty awesome.
Dude, it's the best. But you know what she does now? She comes to me and goes, Dad, I don't like that. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, great. Done. Tell them we're done. And then now she's like, I love horseback riding. I love, gymnastics. I hate soccer. But it's exactly what you said. Like, fucking force them to do shit and then let them choose.
My son played baseball for about 3 years, and then one day we were on our way to practice, and he's like, I don't really like baseball. And I was like, oh, okay. You really don't like you don't want to go anymore? Like, you want to, And he was like, yeah. I said, well, there's only a couple games left, and you are on a team, and so let's finish out the season since you agreed to be on this team. I was like, you good with that? He's like, sure. And that was that. Never
I love
forced
it.
him to play
That's
again.
the best parenting in the whole world, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's fucking great. I really do. Like, there's too many people now that are either forcing their kids to do things they don't love, which is in turn teaching them to hate that thing.
Yeah. Right.
Or there's also those parents that are like, I don't even know what the politically correct, very liberal. They're just like, oh, you don't want to fucking do anything? Okay, well, let's just sit and do nothing.
Yeah, here,
They're
play on your
nerfing-
tablet.
They're
Yeah.
nerfing the world, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bubble wrap everything.
Nerfing the world.
How do you
Yeah.
make time? Because it must be difficult, How do you make time
For my family?
for your daughter?
Um,
It's got to be tough with all the filming and stuff like that.
I'm not the person that believes in like there's not enough time.
Right.
Like some days I'll wake up at 6 and go to bed at 10, and I won't stop doing things until I close my eyes.
Right.
People come and say, oh man, I'm really busy. I had a 50-hour work week. And I'm like, the fuck is that? Like, I'm up, I'm working, I'm doing everything. And the cool thing for me
So
is
kind of like everything gets done every day.
all the time.
basically, yeah.
There's no such thing as a schedule. I couldn't tell you what day it is because that doesn't fucking change my schedule.
Right.
Like, I don't know what Sunday is other than I go to church on Sunday. I don't know what that means. Or Saturday when people are like, oh man, I'm so glad it's the weekend. I'm like, fuck, I thought it was Tuesday. I had no idea. I don't have that, like, okay, man, I've really put in a quality effort. Like, I go and go and go. And if I can, I'll go and I'll bring my daughters with me. I'll be like, hey, let's go. Sometimes I bring them to film. They love it. They love filming. But,
I like that right there. I think that's a really good tip for a lot of people, is just be inclusive. Just, all right, well, I have a lot of shit to do. Well, you're coming with me,
Yeah.
wherever you can.
dude, I would have killed when I was younger to have more time with my dad. My dad was a hardcore 9-to-5er, right? And then when he got sick, it was like 5 o'clock rolled around. You know where he was? He was taking a nap, or he was sleeping, or he was sitting in his chair because he was sick.
Right.
I would have killed to go to work with my dad and just hung out with him. Hey, this isn't bring your kid to work day. This is my fucking life, and I want you to be a part of it.
I've talked about this before. I think everyone's always thinking about like some fancy, cool thing to do with your kid, but your kid just wants to fucking hang out with you, especially
Yeah.
when they're really young. As they get a little older, you might have to, think
Well,
think of some bells and whistles.
Dude, and
but-
the thing for you too, like, your kids look at you like you are Superman. They really do. Like, you roll into that gym and you lift weights, your kids stare at you like, this is Superman. My dad's Superman. And how cool is it that you take the time to say, hey, this isn't, it's not like, hey, let's hang out. It's like, no, you're a part of my life. Come and be a part of my life. And then how great is it that the people that admire you the most, you're just letting come and be with you, Because my daughters do. They love me, think I'm the greatest thing in the whole world. So anytime I can do anything and have those eyes stare at me like, oh, he's the greatest thing ever, it's it's the best, dude.
Yeah, because you're the center of attention when you're filming and stuff like that. So they're like, "That's my dad. Like, this is awesome. This is really cool."
They love it. Anytime we go out, now my daughters think it's the weirdest thing that people.
They must get spoiled too if they're on the set of your show.
Oh, they do.
Right?
My producer's like, "All right, well, you guys want candy? Like we have
ice cream, like
everything,
whatever.
dude." They sit there with their little iPads because the iPads are the screens, you know, and they're like, "All right, you watch Dad. Here's your candy, and what do you want?" You know, they get spoiled. It's awesome. They love it.
Has there ever been a time that you had a problem balancing all of this? Like all the work you're doing with your family? Has it ever been a problem?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million reasons why somebody gets divorced, but essentially, I was a workaholic from the time I was 21 to 28, and I didn't spend time with my wife, and I didn't give a ton of time to parenting because in my mind, I was like, well, you're a stay-at-home mom, like take care of that shit, you know? So when I got divorced, even my own mom was like, oh, fuck. How are you going to deal with 2 daughters by yourself? Like, dude, you can't even do your own laundry, you know, like they were. And I just took it upon myself. I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking show you. And I did, dude, day one. Like I made time. I did whatever I had to do to be that person that they didn't think that I was going to be able to be because I'm so busy. I'm, you know, all of those like fears of, well, yeah, he's a good dad, but he's busy 24/7, you know? So it was almost like a fuck you to everybody that was, oh, you'll never be able to be a good single dad. And that's one of the reasons I make a huge point in everything I do now. Like, if you're a dad and you're telling me you're too busy for your kids, I'm the last fucking person to want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to talk to people that way. Like, don't tell me you're too busy. I don't care what you do. You're not too busy to be a good dad. If you're a dad with a wife, you should be fucking unreal because being a single dad is hard as shit. I mean, it is. I'm lucky because I have an assistant who kind of does. She helps me with everything. If I didn't have her, dude, I can't even imagine how much harder it would be. Mm-hmm. So if you're married and you got a wife and you got people helping you, like, you should be a fucking unreal dad. You just should. You know, and I push that in everything, all over my social media. It's even on the show. We've done almost every episode is either Diesel Dave, myself, or Heavy D with our kids because we push that.
Yeah.
You know, it's important.
Yeah. You mentioned that your anxiety, like you were noticing it when you were 28 and then it like, I don't know what you did. I don't know. Do you still have anxiety or is it gone?
I have it. I have learned to walk through the process of it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I would love to tell everybody I'm not insecure and I don't get down and I don't have anxiety and I don't get frustrated and I would love to pretend that those are things, but they're not. Like I have just as bad of anxiety as I did before. I get just as angry as I did before, but the process in which I deal with it is different. I've learned to work through things. If you're somebody listening even on this podcast and you think, well, fuck, man, I'm dealing with all that shit. How do you get rid of it? You don't get rid of it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to be unsuccessful, find drugs to mask it or learn how to deal with it. Listen, I'm not anti-drug by any means, but what I am is when you hide from problems rather than dealing with them and processing through them. Dude, I feel it every day. It's what gets me out of bed. I'm like, fuck, I got to do so much shit today. I've got so many things. But when I start to get really like bad, I stop in my brain and I go, all right, let's work through this shit. Why do you feel this way? Why is this happening? What do you have control over? What can you do? Fucking do it. And then sit back and deal with the fact that you don't have control over anything else. And I walk through that process. Same thing when I get angry. Like we just went to Lake Powell, all of us, Rob and Dana, Brooke came. And that's
where they're on that thing where they fucking shot up in the air or
that's
whatever,
like
right?
my favorite toy.
What the hell is that thing?
It's called a flyboard. So if you go to my Facebook or my Instagram,
yeah, it's like Brooke and Dana Lynn
down,
shooting themselves into space from a lake.
So it's on a wave runner. So scroll down. So it's right there. Yeah, that one. So it's connected to my wave runner. And yes, I'm 300 pounds and it'll put me 30 feet in the air.
What's a wave runner? Like a jet ski?
Yeah, just that, a jet ski, whatever. I mean,
and then what the fuck is this thing called again?
That's
this
amazing.
is called the flyboard. So that tube that you see behind me, that's connected to the wave runner, and the wave runner is actually powering it. It's just shooting the jet through the tube down your feet.
You have way too much fun, dude.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah.
100%.
Dude, that looks
That's awesome.
sick.
That
Dude,
looks-
it
that's
is
cool.
so fun. So actually, Brooke and Dana got on this together. It's on her Facebook or her Instagram. And dude, this toy is definitely one of the most fun things I've
Do you
ever
feel like
done.
you're gonna fall the entire time?
No, you really don't.
It's not that bad.
It's like standing up.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But
That thing's dope.
oh, dude, and dude, I mean, like right there, I'm 20 feet in the air. It's unreal. And that's my buddy Haloti that's driving it, and he's 365.
The football player.
Yeah, and it'll put him 20 feet in the air.
Dude. Oh my God.
Is he retired?
Yeah, he just retired this last year. He played 15 years in the NFL.
Holy shit.
Was one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. Him and I actually met. Shit, dude, we only met like maybe 2 years ago, maybe
Part
not
of
even
some
that.
of those really amazing Ravens defenses.
Yes, yes. And I actually went to one of those games. It was actually really cool. But he, this is actually a funny story. So he's 360 pounds. He's 6'5". He's huge, man. He dwarfs people. And him and I first did this together out in North Carolina. And the kid running this thing was like, oh, there's no way this big guy's going to get up. He plays in the NFL, dude. He has control over his body better than 99% of people. I get out there, and it took me probably like 2 tries, and I get up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I got this. He rolls out there like he's an angel. Out of the water at 380 pounds, whatever. And the guy's like, holy shit, have you done this before? He's like, no. He's like, how do you? He's like, I just know how to control my body.
Yeah.
Have you ever lifted with him?
Yeah.
He's just a mutant, right?
Yes, he has just that crazy strength, and you'll never ever see him in the gym lifting heavy weight ever.
Right.
But what's so crazy, like
It's just there for
yeah,
whatever
we
reason.
go to the gym all the time. Like him and I randomly go to the gym. So he moved back. Now that he's retired, he moved back to just right outside Salt Lake. We go to the gym, and he likes to like walk and wander around and talk to people. But like, I watched his last game that he played. He manhandled guys like they were children. So he has that kind of strength.
And then he's in the gym curling 30-pound dumbbells,
exactly.
right?
He's the
For
guy in the
sets of
gym that's
25.
like, hey, man, like we would do a 225 bench.
He's
you
like,
know?
I just want abs, bro.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
right?
He's
doing
just like,
sit-ups, cardio.
It's too hard. I don't want to do it anymore. But you got to think, like, his whole life has been performance until he's 34 now. Yeah, he's 34.
It's young.
Yeah, he's young. And he got out with no injury, which is great.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy. Jeez. And now he's like, I don't really want to work out. I'll just do it so my wife doesn't get mad at me, But he's unbelievably strong. Unbelievably strong. And he's that guy at the gym that's like, let me get these 25-pound dumbbells and curl stuff.
He's got that football strength. How many like cars and trucks do you personally have?
I've got my R8. I've got an old Ford F100.
R8 as an Audi? R8?
Yeah, Audi R8. My favorite. I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm too big to be in a normal like supercar, but the Audis are big.
Yeah.
So I've got that F350 that I just built, the single cab. I have that Mega Raptor, the white one that was at SEMA that I was actually supposed to come out here today and film and do some stuff. I have that right there. That's a Blazer.
Wow.
That's a 19. Shit, what year is that? I just finished building
It's like
that.
something
That's
from
finished
Most of
last
this
year.
stuff at your house?
No, it's kind of all over. I have like a storage unit, and then we have our like company area is huge, like where we build stuff. That Bronco right there.
Oh shit, that looks cool.
I sold that Bronco to Noi.
Oh, cool.
His wife, we wrapped it in Tiffany blue, and I sold it to him. So he shipped it back to Hawaii.
Yeah, Ton-away Reed,
Yep.
the rock stunt double.
Yeah, he's a stud. I just have all kinds of vehicles. I couldn't even.
What about boats and jet skis? And you got a bunch of that stuff too?
I do. I have. That's what I was telling you. That's what I was trying to tell you about the Pavati boat. So where our whole conversation was like keeping track of your anxiety, your anger, whatever. So Pavati, and you'll see on one of my posts, Pavati makes a wakeboarding boat that's $350,000. If you scroll down, I think it's just right. Keep going. Right there, middle one. So that's a Pavati boat. I don't know if you can zoom in on that boat.
Oh, wow.
But it's the most expensive and nicest boat you can ever like get. And it's like the end all be all. $350,000 boat, brand new, and they're awesome boats.
Beautiful house too, by the way.
Thank you. So we went to Lake Powell with everybody, and They blew my boat up.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so Brooke and some of her camera guys were on it, and
Jesus
they went back
Christ.
to the dock. We're gone for forever, and then they come rolling around the corner, and it's being towed by another boat, and I was like, okay, so here.
And you're like, Brooke, you're really hot, but
What
Jesus
do we?
Christ,
Yeah, what do we do here? And you know what? I was like, I'm in Lake Powell, man. I'm not gonna get upset. I'm not gonna let this emotion that I am feeling fuck the rest of the shit up. So I was like, oh, it blew up. That's shitty. All right, whatever. And no joke, Rob and Brooke were talking a little bit later, and Brooke's like, how does he not? And Rob's like, I don't know, dude. I've never seen how this guy because Rob's seen me do some shit where he's like, dude, I don't know how you don't fucking lose your mind. It's not that I don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that I just have learned to process through it. And it's always going to be there. If you can't fucking deal with it, you're going to be unsuccessful in anything in your life.
Oh, imagine if you're letting it freak you out and you're building these trucks. I mean, you can't build shit. You can't make stuff. You can't make, even if you're just creating content, you can't make stuff and then not have patience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like you probably need some level of anxiety to make sure shit gets done the way that you want to, have it be done. But then you also need to be like calm enough to just be like, fucking parts didn't come in, the truck's not getting built, or this isn't happening the way we thought, right?
The thing is, like, how is that any different than what you tell people about their bodies?
Right.
When you're building your body, like, oh, it just happens overnight? You got fat overnight? No, you didn't. Like, this shit takes patience, and it takes frustration and all of those things, the anxiety to get things going. But
a lot of frustration.
But you got to be able to fucking deal with that, dude. I mean, how many times do you have guys come to you and be like, Mark, I can't get past my PR. I've been working for 12 hours. Oh, fuck, bro. You got 12 months to get past your PR. Like, you got to give it time.
Yeah. Right.
You know? So, like, that's the... If there's nothing more to teach people that ask that question, it's don't make decisions based on your emotions and learn how to work through your emotions, because everybody has them. There's no one on this earth that doesn't get angry, that doesn't feel some kind of anxiety, that doesn't get frustrated, that doesn't get impatient. That's fine. Learn how to work through it. Fucking deal with it and process through it and learn how to get through it. And then
I think it's good too to kind of take a mindset of like failing fast. You know, a friend of mine uses that term a lot, and I like it because it's like, yeah, just fucking go for it. So what? You messed up. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
You think about a little kid like throwing a ball or catching something or doing something. They don't give a fuck. Or or dancing. Like little kids will dance and go crazy, right?
Yeah.
They'll do all kinds of stuff. They don't care what you think of them at that point. They're just gonna let loose.
And they're gonna fuck up until they get it right.
Right.
So what's the difference for you as an adult? Like, you want to do something, you need to fuck up to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being afraid to fail. It goes back to the whole thing we talked about. Stop being afraid and letting fear base your, like, I don't want to keep doing that. I'm too afraid to fail. Well, that's stupid, because you're going to get it. You just got to be willing to do what it takes to get it right, which no one can do on their first time.
Yeah. Right.
Ever. So I don't know. I'm a big advocate for like accepting people in their emotions. Just fucking learn how to deal with them and process through them, and then make decisions based out of those emotions. Everybody has the best advice for their friend, right? Because their emotions aren't attached to that. Yeah. And then you do it to them, they're like, I don't know, I can't.
Yeah.
It's the worst. I hear the best advice from people about relationships who are in the worst fucking relationship ever. And it's like, yeah, well, if you listened to yourself and took your own emotion out of yourself, you'd make great decisions too.
Yeah.
And that you want to be successful, get the fuck out of your emotions and make decisions based off of here. Don't be angry and make a decision. Don't be sad. Don't be upset. Don't be fucking crazy in love and happy and make a decision. Like, think through things.
Sometimes they sleep on it.
Yeah.
Like, great advice.
That's great.
Fucking go to bed.
Yeah.
You get a shitty email or text or something. See how it feels in the morning.
And I'm notorious for that. Like, when I get pissed, really pissed, like, my friends will be like, hey, bro, just fucking give him 2 days. It doesn't matter what it is. Fucking give him 2 days. And then 2 days, I won't even remember what the hell we were even, like, and it's over. There's not even a thing that you can even, well, I don't know. What were we mad at? I don't care. Whatever. I love you, dude. Whatever.
Yeah.
You process it and stuff, and you're like, well, whatever. It's not a big deal.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
But in the heat of it, when you're angry, it was the stupidest thing to say this and do this and say, you know what I'm saying? So don't make decisions based off your emotions, and watch how your life changes. Crazy amounts.
I was asking Andy Frisella. I was like, sometimes I feel like I text bomb the crap out of my employees. So I said I kind of stopped doing that. Now I still will text bomb the crap out of them, but If anything is getting confused, or if anything seems like it has emotion behind it, then I stop and I try to call people or wait till I see them in person to communicate. And it's been awesome for me. It's like changed everything. And so I was telling, he's like, I can't do that.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like,
he's not.
He's like, because I saw him texting, and I was like, I'm like, dude, are you smashing on somebody right now? Like, what are you doing? You know? And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, get fired up.
He does too, dude. He fucking. I'm like, bro, you got to bring it down a notch. That's too much anger and like emotion.
Part of what
it.
makes him successful too.
It
though,
is.
right?
It absolutely is, because it's a driving force for him. When you're fucking angry, like that drives you.
Yeah.
It does. But it's still, even with that, like, become a master of it.
Right.
You know, be the fucking master of your anger.
You don't want it eating you up. You don't want it to negatively impact you. And obviously, over time, that's going to hurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Keaton, you ever do any speaking engagements? Because like the chat room is loving everything you're saying, dude. You're getting everybody fired up.
That's good.
It's fucking awesome.
I want to get people fired up. Yeah, I do. So just recently, within the last year, we started to get just random people asking us to come out to engagements and actually do motivational speaking for them. And I honestly, I think that's my next step, because that's what I love to do. I don't know if I believe yet in just doing an event and being like, oh, I fucking changed the world because I got these people riled up for 10 minutes, you know? And so I do it, but I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, how do I do it consistently to these people to get them to actually act? Because even the fucking guys that are listening right now are like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But tomorrow they're gonna be like, fuck, who was that guy? He made me feel good.
Said something about muscle.
Yeah, like, so I'm trying to figure out how, on a huge scale, consistently, I can reach people to say, like, dude, I mean, right before
You would need constant contact the way that we have constant contact about your nutrition.
yeah. Yeah,
Right? Like,
how do you do that on a massive
I need
scale?
to keep picking on you. I need to be like, dude, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going?
Which is always the best. For those guys that are listening, the way that Mark and I actually became friends is he just out of the blue was like, I want to fucking help you, dude. And I was like, oh, this is my dude right here.
Yeah, I think you posted a picture and stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm back on that cut. I'm gonna start, losing weight. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll try to help
dude,
this guy
and
out.
you did too. Like, you text me all the time. You're like, hey, bro, like, and of course I gave you every fucking excuse in the book, like I'm busy, blah, 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 but you kept coming at me, dude.
Right.
I never paid you.
Right.
You just fucking cared about me, dude. And that's my kind of people. So I was like, dude, Mark's that guy's real as shit. I'm in for that. But I don't know how you do that on a massive scale.
It would be hard to be lumped in with a bunch of other motivational speakers and all that. Like those events are great. Like they can be great, but I totally understand what you're
They're
saying.
super. We have something that we do in Vegas. It's called the Heavy D Academy. That's actually where myself, Andy Frizella, Rob, BJ Baldwin, and then Heavy D and Diesel Dave, we actually do like a 3-day seminar, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
And I think they do help a little bit. But man, I feel like the majority of even those people, they leave and they fall on their face, and it's like
almost like somebody needs to spend like 4 or 5 days with you.
Yeah.
And just be with you.
With you.
Yeah, just fucking be with you the whole time.
It sounds like you need a podcast then.
So I do have a podcast.
Oh, okay.
You can tell them I do have. For you guys listening. So I've never listened to a podcast ever, and I started my own podcast like, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I've done 4 episodes. It's called Becoming. So everybody that is listening right now, it's called Becoming.
We can give you this podcast to add. You can add it to yours.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. But the thing is I don't have a lot of time. So like, to do this shit has been really hard. But
Do you do it by yourself?
No, I have my brother, the one that you met, that you also sent stuff to.
Yep.
So we're not as fancy as this, but we have, microphone and shit. But yeah, it's right there. So that's called, what do I have, 4 episodes? 3 episodes?
5.
What's becoming? What's that mean? Becoming what?
It's all about becoming better.
Yeah.
Everything in life is about becoming something, right? And you're either becoming worse or you're becoming better. There is no such thing as buoyancy in life, just plain and simple. There's not. If you feel like you're fucking there and you're buoyant, you're fucking getting worse. I promise. So the whole podcast,
other people might be flying past you.
yeah, exactly. So I started this podcast, and I was like, I just want people to become better. Like, that's it. And I don't even know my topics. One of them is divorce. That was like my big one. I talked about divorce, and then fear and cheering other people on, staying positive in a negative world. Oh, I do have 4, right? Yeah, and changing yourself. So they can go check those out. I think they're pretty good. But like I said, I've never really listened to one. I don't know what the context I don't even know what it looks like if they're successful. I was talking to your guy. Oh shit, the guy that picked me up from the airport.
Probably Steven?
Smokey.
Yeah.
I was talking to him and he was like, oh, his podcasts are awesome. They have this many downloads. And to me, I'm like, I don't know what that even looks. I don't even know what that
good or
means.
bad?
Yeah, it's exactly. So my brother will call me and be like, dude, we did 10,000 downloads on this cast. And I'm like, cool. I don't know what that means, man. I don't know, and to him it's great, but I don't know. So
there's nothing wrong with that. Like if I told Mark the same thing, he'd be like, "Cool, what does that mean?"
Yeah,
he doesn't care.
I don't listen to podcasts either.
I don't
listen
do
to a
that.
few of Joe Rogan's. That's about it.
Yeah. So I think you're on the right track, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Good.
I think.
Like Bill Burr, he has that a daily podcast where Bill Burr's a super funny comedian. He's hilarious.
Wait, he's
comedian.
the guy,
the white bald guy who's like mad at.
He's always mad at something.
He's the guy who has a joke about like people that are really, really fit and really jacked in the gym. He's like, you won, dude. He's like,
yes.
everyone recognizes.
Okay.
Yeah,
everybody knows that one.
Yeah.
Because that's funny as shit.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
get out of the gym, man.
Yeah,
you already got it.
Go eat a goddamn cheeseburger or something. Fucking relax. Have some French fries.
Honestly, though, his podcast is just him just riffing on the mic every single day about shit he's either mad about or something he's heard about. And honestly,
is it successful?
super successful.
Yeah. He does really well,
and it's just him. Like it's literally just him, and that seems like you're so knowledgeable that I think you'd kill that.
Yeah, I think that's something that I want to move towards, and I do need to get more episodes up.
Do you and your brother get together like in person?
Yeah.
And you
So
record them that
you
way?
guys saw my house that we posted up. So I built behind it. I built a big deck up top where I put my hot tub and I'm putting a pool and stuff. So we podcast from up there. He takes
nice.
all the shit up there, and it's fucking awesome. If nothing else, it's really fun to watch because it's above the whole city of Salt
that's
Lake
cool.
and everything. But that's kind of what we do. We sit down and just chit chat for an hour. I did one of those I did with One Legged Monster, and Julian Smith and Diesel Dave, and that was a really cool one. But I haven't really had anybody else out because I haven't even really spent a ton of time
even talked about
on
much.
it. Yeah. So, but I mean, I love it. Anytime
What do you
I
think-
get information.
What do you think the biggest thing is that you learned from your divorce?
Oh man, I might get beat up for this. Oh, this one's gonna be bad. I think that any person can be married to any person. I think if you are having problems in your marriage, most likely it's your fault. Probably 99% of the time it's your fault. I think that any marriage can be fixed by self-reflection. Listen, I'm not going to say that you're arguing with yourself, but you essentially are. Like, there's no reason to do half of the shit that you're doing that's causing the problems in your marriage. Probably even more than half of them. My ex-wife, she's great. I love her even now. Like, we have a great relationship. I bought her house. I take care of everything for her. And not because the courts tell me to, by any means. I have 50-50 custody, so I really don't have to do anything. But, like, the reality of marriage in and of itself is, hey, I love you, and I'm committing to you that we're going to be together for the rest of our lives, right? Well, that's when it's nice. Well, when it gets shitty, you didn't say that I was going to sign up until it got shitty and then I'm going to walk away. You said I'm signing up, and when it gets shitty, I'm stepping the fuck up. And you don't, and then you end up going, oh, it's her fault or it's his fault, and I'm fucking leaving.
And the vows are traditional, so you just go with them. Like, you don't even like. You should really make your own vows. And you should really consider that.
And you should also
in
understand
sickness and health, you should actually consider
Well,
that.
yeah, what does that mean?
Like, if you're sick, like, maybe I'm going to bounce because, like, maybe you're totally different. Like, maybe you gained 400 pounds. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you do that in the beginning, maybe that would have fixed shit.
Maybe it would help just to be more direct.
Maybe at the altar, you're like, hey, listen,
Like, if you don't give me
fat as shit,
if you don't
I'm
give me
out.
blowjobs, I'm fucking gone.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds
Like, put
crazy.
that right in the goddamn contract.
But why wouldn't you? Because at the
people
end of
are-
the day, that fucking shit happens.
It does.
Oh, well, she got fat, so I wanted out. Well, okay, well, if you would have told her that in the beginning, she probably said, fuck you, I don't want to do this.
Right. She's
That's
like,
the
I don't
truth.
want to be with somebody like that. Yeah.
But that's what I feel like I've learned is if you can look at yourself and be real, which most people can't, I don't think there's anything that you cannot conquer with somebody. Now, with that said, I know that there are special circumstances when you are with someone that is such a big piece of shit, man or woman, that you cannot reconcile. But if people really understood what that number was, there would be 1% of divorce instead of 50% of divorce. And if people would wake the fuck up, look in the mirror and say, what is wrong with me? What am I doing? This marriage is ending because of me. And stop worrying about them because you have no fucking control over who that person is. I'll guarantee you divorce rate would drop drastically.
Go back and listen to the episode with Charity Witt where she said something very similar and she was abused. And so she had to reflect on herself on why this was happening. Not that she was doing anything wrong by any means. She certainly wasn't. But she had to reflect on herself to think, like, why am I accepting of this? Like, this is ridiculous. I need to get out of here.
So I did this. We kind of talked about this in my podcast, the divorce one. And I said, and this is what I said, if you're being abused and you're looking into yourself, I guarantee you're going to figure it out very quickly. And you know what the answer is? Why am I allowing this? Oh, I'm not done. I'm out. If you continually stay in a marriage that you're being abused, guess whose fault it is? It's yours. Once again, that goes back to exactly what we're talking about. Reflect. Stop looking at them and being like, oh, well, our marriage didn't work because this is. No. You're at where you're being abused, man or woman, because you've allowed it and accepted it. Now, once again, so that I don't get beat up somewhere when I leave, I'm not saying that there isn't a 1% of people that it's like, hey, I can't leave because he's going to kill me if I leave, or she's going to slit my tire, whatever it is.
People are so terrified, yeah.
Yes, there are those people. But this podcast is not about reaching 1%. You're talking about masses, so I'm going to give you mass answers.
Right.
In marriage, if you want it to be successful, it's on you. If you want to stop fucking fighting, it's on you. And I think, honestly, like, if you could put this, it's Will Smith's quote. Mm-hmm. He says, her happiness it has nothing to do with me, and my happiness has nothing to do with her. But if two people who are happy come together and want to be happy, great. Stop fucking having the spouse that you're in a marriage with be the person that makes you happy. Do you know how many times I've heard, even in the last 6 months, from somebody, I'm not happy in my relationship. Well, you're a fucking bad person because you're not happy, not because of them. They are not in charge of your happiness. They're not. Mm-hmm. And once again, it always rolls back to, oh, well, I guess I should look in the mirror and reflect on myself and decide whether I'm going to be happy. Period. End of story. Like, dude, it doesn't. And Mark, you know this. You're successful. Once again, I don't know your background.
Yeah.
But, like, you've made a lot of money. You've met a lot of cool people. Does any of that really affect your happiness?
No.
Because to me, I'm fucking more stressed out today than I ever was when I didn't have any money.
Yeah, it made things a lot harder.
But I'm fucking happy because I choose to be happy. And when shit comes, which it's going to, I fucking deal with it, and then I try to get right back to being happy. I'm single. One day I may be married. I don't know. But I will be happy as fuck no matter what happens. And my happiness is based on me and me only. And if people going through divorce, dealing with divorce, thinking about divorce will stop what the fuck they're doing and look at themselves and go, nope. This is on me. I need to find happiness.
I think people feel their own happiness is somehow selfish. But if something someone's doing is making you unhappy, you need to communicate about it. Like if someone's messing around on their phone and you're like, who are you texting? Like, like that. First of all, I mean, that's a horrible relationship to already, like, just the conversation is already really ugly, Yeah. And the fact that you can't be like, oh, I'm texting Nsima, like, just checking out, see like what we're doing tomorrow or whatever. The fact that you can't be open or share something, like something's going on. And so 100%. You have to draw a line and start to figure out, like, what are these things that you want to tolerate or not tolerate?
Well, and that's how you become happy, right? You personally, is you decide where you draw that line in the sand. This is what makes me happy.
And you say that just bothers me.
Exactly.
Maybe I'm crazy, but it just fucking bothers me. I want to know where you are.
Exactly.
I want to know what you're doing or whatever it is, right?
And communicate. Hey, so-and-so, this is what makes me happy. This is my line. These are my my standards, right? I want to know who you're talking to. I want to know where you're at. Like communicate. It doesn't seem hard, but that becomes hard. But once again, it comes back to you yourself being happy. And how the fuck can you be happy if you can't even draw the line in the sand to decide whether that's going to make you happy or not? And most people can't do that.
And then also too, if you're looking inward and you can't be truthful, then you can't be happy.
Dude, that's a podcast in and of itself, right? Like, how do you really be truthful with someone? Well, if you can't be truthful with yourself, you're definitely not going to be truthful with somebody else, right? And the people that you see every day that come into the gym that are in their mind living some crazy bullshit life that you're like, dude, you're fucking going to the gym every day and you're fat. That's a problem. You know why that's a problem? Because you're not fucking being real with yourself. Right. You need to be cardio. You need to do this. You need to eat this. Well, no, I'm good. I go to the gym every day. Yeah, but you've been going to the gym every day for 6 years and you're fucking gaining weight from fat. If you look in the mirror and go, you know what? I'm getting fatter from eating like a piece of shit. You know what? I can change because I'm being real with myself. But most people can't even do that. And so then, of course, you say, well, how the fuck are you going to be serious and real with someone in another relationship? Oh, you're not? Then you should probably keep your ass out of a relationship then. That's the truth.
Yeah.
As hard as that is for most people.
Damn.
Shit.
It's all self-reflection right there.
Get your shit together over there, Andrew.
I'm trying.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Again, the chat room is just there.
They're going to fucking crucify me.
No, not at all.
You're probably loving it.
Yeah, no. I think the only clarification we would need is just like when you said it's like it's your fault that that this is happening. Like as far as abuse, you're not saying like you did something to deserve it.
No.
Not,
Yeah, the
right?
clarification would be, and I see this often. I do this kind of a little bit anonymously, but I help a lot of people out of abusive relationships. And when I say help, it really only comes down to one thing: finances. I have helped a lot of now single moms out of relationships. Actually, a lot of people who I have never even met. I literally get messages all the time from people referring people or whatever. They're like, hey, I know you don't know who I am. I have 2 kids. My husband's abusive. He's taken my car, my credit card. He's taken everything. There's no way I could leave. And I go, okay, I'm going to send you $4,000. Here's what you're going to do with it. And then you're going to get back to me in 6 months and we're going to, figure out what we need to do. But what I'm saying is those people that it's their fault are the ones that keep going back or keep allowing it. I'm telling you right now, for every fucking person that's listening, in any relationship, if a man hits you, you're fucking done. You're fucking done. There's no amount of apologies. There's no amount of, I'll fix it, I'll change it. If you fucking get hit, if you are a female and you get hit by a man, get the fuck out. And I do not feel bad for you when you come back and 5 years later, you're still doing that shit. That's the reflection I'm talking about. That's when you step into the bathroom and go, why the fuck am I allowing my children and myself to get the shit kicked out of me? I need to change and I need to figure out how I get out of it. That's the clarification. And that's what I'm saying to people. No one ever deserves that shit. And I will go as far as to say, it's not the same for men. Like, I know a few guys who did stupid shit and their girlfriends like slapped them. Yeah, like, you're fine, dude. Deal with it. But like a real abusive relationship, it's never, ever, ever okay. So if you are someone listening right now and you're like, well, he only hit me with his open hand, or he only, he only pushed me down the stairs. Like, you need to fucking change. Like, it's not okay. That shit is not okay. I don't know anything about your guys' relationships, but I would imagine that if you have a healthy relationship, you're not out there doing that shit, right? So if that's happening and you're listening to this, like, get the fuck out of there. And there are people who can help, whatever. But at the end of the day, back to the marriage thing, every single thing is self-reflection on the choices that you have, right? And if you're in an abusive relationship, the choices are stay or don't stay. Fucking take the choices you have, take the control you have, and go. Get out. Like, that's what it is.
You should be able to find someone that's not going to hit you.
Yeah. There's enough decent guys out there. Right. I feel like, and if you can't, stay the fuck single. It's great. I'm single. I've been single for a while. It's great.
And I think, even to make this a little bit broader, I think this can kind of extend into other relationships. Like there's absolutely no reason for anyone to ever talk down to you. Whether it's your boss or the owner of the company or like whoever, you should take exception to that right away and qualify that in your head. Like, what'd they say to me? What did that guy person say to me?
Dude,
I'm
so glad you brought that up.
And you should think about, like, again, just what you said. Should I really stay at that job?
No.
Or should you address, how do you address it? Or do you just fucking bounce? But it's something that you should draw a line in the sand for and make a decision one way or the other, whether you're going to continue to, if you're going to confront them and say, hey, like, I didn't like the way you treated me. I felt like you talked down to me, because maybe they didn't even realize it.
But and sometimes that's fair. Communicate with them.
Yeah, communicate with them just to kind of see what's up. But you don't want to be around something like that. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse.
And go one more step and go, why the fuck would you let family members do that? This is a true story. This really is a true story. I wasn't going to tell you this. So I get asked to do podcasts all the time. I don't ever go. And the first time that you reached out to me, or whoever it was, I don't know who it was that reached out to me, I was like, I would love to, but I'm busy, yada, yada, yada. This is real truth. So then Mark reached out to me. I don't know the timeline, but all he did was, hey, dude, I want to help you. And then every fucking day I would get a text like, hey, dude, I fucking love you. I want to help you, whatever, yada, yada, yada. The relationship that we created, and I should say that he created, because I wasn't the one texting him at 7 a.m. like, hey, dude, what are you eating? I was like, that's the kind of person that I want in my life. And then I made the decision, like, dude, fuck, you want me to come out on podcast? Hell yeah, I want to come hang out with Mark. That guy's a fucking cool guy. I want to create a relationship with that guy.
I text a lot of 300-pound men.
He does. I'm sure he does.
It's a weird thing.
But that's what you're saying. Like, it's not just a marriage, it's any relationship. And I go as far now as almost to pre-qualify people. Like, hey, man, I want to hang out with you. I want to see you. Okay,
it's hard to get in.
Fuck, what do you want, man? What do you want? And all I ever got from Mark was, hey, bro, what do you need? I'm here. Whatever you need, I'm here. Anything I can do to help you. I was like, that's the kind of person that I want to be around. That's the kind of people that I let in. Because like I told you in the beginning, like, when we become friends, we become family. There's nothing left. And when you fuck up, I'm going to say, dude, that's fucking bullshit. Don't do that shit. And then we're going to go right back into the relationship that we had. And that's true. Like, any relationship that you have in your life that's toxic right now, get it the fuck out. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's your parents. I don't care if it's your friends. I don't care if it's your family, your girlfriend, your wife. If it's toxic, start by saying, hey, this is fucking toxic and I'm not going to put up with it. And then 2, hey, you're being toxic to me. I'm giving you 2 choices. Stay in my life or get the fuck out. It's your choice. But if you're going to stay, here are like we said, here's my line in the sand. This is what you got to do. Oh, you don't want to say, okay, love you, see ya. Like, it's as simple as that. And then all of a sudden, dude, you look around you. Like, for me, I look around me and I'm like, fuck, dude, look who I get to hang out with. Look at the people that I'm spending time with, because I cut out all the other fucking bullshit. And now I just get to go have fun with people that I love to death and I would do anything for. Mark could call me next week and be like, hey, dude, I got to stay at your house for a week. All right, bro, here's the keys to my car, whatever you need, go. Because that's the relationships, the only relationships that I will allow in my life.
That's the kind of friends you need, too. They don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
They just figure, oh, shit, something fucked up happened. But yeah, sure thing.
100%, dude. And so when you see me out and about and you see someone that I associate with, I can promise you that person is the same as me in they're going to give everything that I would give in that relationship and in a marriage, in a friendship, in any kind of relationship. Otherwise, you won't fucking see me there doing it. I just won't do it.
I don't know if this is too personal of a question, but like, you mentioned that, mostly you should be able to work through things in your marriage, right? Now, like, in terms of your divorce, you said you still have a great relationship with your ex-wife. Do you think it could have been something you worked through, or that divorce just needed to happen?
100% could have worked through it. 100%. Okay. So I had an affair when I was 25, and when I was 26, it kind of came out. And guess what? That's when the show became really crazy. And so, what everybody's like, oh, you go out on TV and you have an affair. That wasn't the case, but I could give you all the advice in the world right now because of where I am today, but I couldn't have given you that advice when I was 26. And so I fucked up. I did what people are doing now. I did what I'm telling you not to do, And so if I were to go back, I would have been like, dude, you fucking idiot. Like, get your shit together and make it up. And if she'll take you back, like, figure your shit out and be better.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and I tell this people all the time, like, she's a great mom, great spouse, all of those things. Like, if I was a person that wanted to get into a relationship, like, it doesn't make any sense why I wouldn't go back to that. But at the end of the day, it's hard to just say, well, what you know now, why didn't you do it then? Well, fuck, dude, that's what this whole life is about. It's about learning.
Yeah.
You know, I listen to Andy Frizzell. I love that guy talking, but every time he talks, all I can picture is he's standing in front of a mirror talking to himself, because he's struggling with shit that he is talking to himself about, and he just so happens to put it out for everybody else to listen to. Like, when he tells you stop fucking up on your 75 hard, guess what? He fucks up on 75 hard. And if he tells you he doesn't, he's fucking lying to you. He makes mistakes, and he knows just as well as anybody else that if he wants to be successful, you got to fucking reflect. And his way of reflecting is telling you what he should be telling himself. So he's always talking. That's why I love that dude. Because I know when he talks to me, he's literally so attached to it because it's all about him. You know?
Do you think marriage should exist?
Oh, that's a hard one. I at this point in my life, like,
because it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird if we're just to think about.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's way weird.
Just to like link up with somebody and be like, hey, we should be. We shouldn't see other people, you know, and we should just be together. But why has it got to be taken to like this other step?
I think that marriage is the noblest idea. Like, hey, I'm 21. I don't know a fucking thing about anything in the world. But hey, you're the one I want to be with for the rest of my life. Like, okay, maybe if we wanted to make it better.
Yeah, when I was 8, I wanted to be a race car driver.
Yeah, like, hey, dude, when I was 10, I wanted to fly in outer space. Like, great. But I think that marriage, I do think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a noble thing. I feel like you shouldn't be able to be married until probably your mid-30s. Or at least until you figure out yourself. And what's the scale on how long it takes for people to figure out themselves? Most men don't figure shit out until they're about 30. Like,
yeah,
and that's a quick one. That's
a
quick, like, a lot of guys take a lot longer. I think women figure their shit out by 25 earlier. They're a little bit easier to mature. But why the fuck would you marry somebody before you even know who the fuck you are? That is the dumbest shit I could ever even think of. And yet we do it all the time in society. Oh, man, look at them 21-year-olds. They're getting married. You know what I think? He doesn't have a fucking clue what he's getting himself into. So why are we committing him to this? Because that's what we're doing. Because marriage is just a legal obligation. You could be committed to someone as a marriage without the legal obligation of marriage.
Right.
I think the other thing that's hard, I think one person, that's a hard thing, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to pretend like I have these high standards. I like to date a lot of people, but I really enjoy doing different things and different experiences with different people. So as cool as it is to take this girl and go do these things, it's also a really cool experience for me to take a different girl and go do different things. I think people need to also experience that. Like, people need to get out there and be like, hey, I'm not just dating. I'm like figuring myself out, and I'm figuring out other people. And like, dude, the person that you marry, you have no fucking idea.
Imagine if you met somebody and you're 21 and you hang out with them for a year and you're like, holy shit, like, wow, like I really love hanging out with this person, right? And they kind of agree to the same thing. Imagine if you said, you know what, why don't we take like the next year, whatever, and just not see each other. And then if we're both still around, like if we're both still thinking about each other, let's be together and let's make it more official, and let's say that we're going to be together forever.
Dude, I love that idea.
You know what I mean?
I love
like,
it.
It's just like trying to be open about maybe some different concepts. I don't know.
So this opens up a whole nother door, but I don't think that most people understand what love is. I don't. I think that if you actually understood what love is, the whole world would be very different. If, you know, everybody, I love you. You know, like,
love you, bro.
Yeah, like, hey, I love, or to your wife, like, I love you, right? And then you see those same people, or 50% of them, because that's what we have for divorce, 50% divorce rate, turn around and act completely like a fucking piece of shit to that same person that they said I love you to. Now, if I could put this in perspective, if my daughters, whom I love, ever did anything and I treated them the way that husbands treat ex-wives or wives treat ex-husbands, I can damn well tell you that I don't love my children. Love is not something that you get to fucking choose. It's not. If you love someone, it's an eternal thing. So, like, and I say this like my ex-wife, who I love, like, I treated her very, very, very well through our divorce. I treat her well now. I treat her so well. I probably treat her better now than I did when we were married. And you know why? I fucking love her. I will always love her. I will always care for her, just as I love and care for my children. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that my children could do that would change my love for them and how I treat them. So if we decide to get in a fight and the fight says it's time to break up and stop that love, and I treat you like a piece of shit, that was never real. And when we are 21, how the fuck are we supposed to know what that means? How do you even understand that idea? You know, like you say to your friends, like, I love you. But then if that friend doesn't do exactly what you want, all of a sudden you're like, you fucking piece of shit, I hate you, and you go out of your way to make them miserable. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to fight, but what I am saying is, if you can take your anger, frustration away from it and make a decision, that decision should still be based on the fact that you love them, right? So any marriage, if it ends, should still end well, because you guys loved each other. Right. Now you may be angry, you might be pissed, whatever. But just because you're pissed at your wife right now, you don't turn around and fucking cut and beat and tear and do everything to hurt her. You don't do that. It doesn't work that way. So I think that's the other piece to the marriage thing. Like, dude, you don't understand yourself, and you don't even fucking understand what love is, because love is an eternal thing. You say I love you to someone, that's it, dude. You're signing yourself up right there. That's it, man. No matter what that person does, you're always going to love them. And there's nothing they can do that's ever going to change that love. Now, you could space from them. You could split up from them. You can give them time. But at the end of the day, you love them, and you will always want what's best for them.
Kind of through some of this, did you learn that your relationship with your family is even more important, like amplified, like relationship with your brothers and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Because if you wake up and you realize there's really nothing in this world that matters except for your relationships and how you make people feel, there really isn't. And you act that way, everything kind of changes. Like, dude, it would be so easy for me to come out here and Smokey, that was his name?
Smokey,
and to have him pick me up and not talk to him because I don't want to talk to him, and treat him like a piece of shit. And he could go, well, you know, he's famous, he's on TV. I get it, you know. We could do that. Or I could look at that and go, dude, hey, what's up, man? It's great. We had a great conversation all the way out here. He's a really cool guy. And hopefully when I leave, we'll have another great conversation, and he may never see me again. But hopefully he'll go, I really like talking to that guy. I liked the way that I felt. I don't fucking remember anything he was even talking about, but I liked the way that I felt when I was with him. And the second that you...
And it didn't cost you anything.
It didn't cost me nothing.
Right?
It didn't. And the second that I actually understood that, that's when my family, those things became really important, and my friends became even more important. And then all of a sudden, instead of clumping it into like, I have acquaintances, I have family, and then I have friends, I just said, no, I just have family. I don't have any, there's nobody else. If you're in there, you're just in there. There's nothing, like, I consider you family because like there's no like levels, right? I either love you and we fucking get along and we're the best, or you're just not in my life. You know, and so with my own family, and I even did the, you know, some of the stuff.
You don't have a best friend anymore.
No, dude, I just fucking love everybody that wants to spend time with me and do those things and wants to be uplifted and wants to be happy and genuinely cares about me, because there's a lot of people, especially in Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, that want to make you feel good, but they don't genuinely care about you. And those are the fucking people that I want in my life. And in my own family, my brothers, you know, my mom, it was like that relationship intensified. And it made it better, way better.
So I'm just trying to understand this, because like everyone for you is family, but how do you have the energy to give so much energy to everybody else in your life?
That's a really good question. That's something that I've been trying to balance. I have to take alone time.
Okay.
I have to. Like, dude, so I went to Nsima when I saw Mark for the first time, and I was in lines for 8 hours. And hopefully every single person, and I'd even put this out there if any of them are listening, hopefully every single person that I met and talked to felt like I loved them or I cared about them and they were happy, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, the second I left Nsima, I went back to my hotel room and I sat and just did nothing. I didn't touch my phone. I didn't even eat, dude. I just sat and just took time to myself. And I thought, you know, how great this is. I think if I focus a lot on like things I feel like are blessings and I'm thankful for things, it makes my energy go up, but I have to fucking be alone. And I even came home and I hadn't seen my daughters for like 4 days. Ooh. And I came home and I called my ex-wife and I'm like, hey, I know this is crazy, but I need you to keep them for one more day. And she's like, you haven't seen them for 4 days. And I'm like, I know, but if I give them who I am now, it's not going to be a good interaction. It's just not. So, of course, and she's great, you know, she's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. So I stayed home. I didn't do anything that day I got home. I got my hot tub. I made some posts. I hung out. I just did me for a minute. Next day, had my daughters, and my youngest daughter is like my like where I drive all my energy from because she's just my fucking world. Mm-hmm. And then the next day I was like, I'm back on. Here we are. I'm back on my game. So I think that's important for anybody to understand. No one will ever be like have enough energy to always be doing stuff. So figure out what it takes to recharge yourself, right? Like, because dude, if you give me the 40% version of you, this is not going to work. Our relationship is not going to work. Mm-hmm. But if you got to step back and go, hey, dude, just give me a minute. Let me recharge. And you bring that back to me in 100%, this shit's going to work. So it's all about finding out what it takes for you to recharge. And for me, it's just fucking being alone, you know? A day,
those shows and stuff and just obligations you can sometimes be overwhelmed by them. You can sometimes be like, oh man, like they're hustling me around and I got to talk to so many different people. But then like you're saying, you could stop for a minute and be like, whoa, like this is fucking cool. I always liked cars. I do a bunch of shit with trucks and cars and I hang out with friends and I do fun shit on TV and these people love me for it. Mm-hmm. You know, and so you can kind of stop and try to make sense of it, you know, try to have it make more sense in your brain. So you're not frustrated with it.
Yeah. And dude, sometimes people don't understand that idea. They're like, what do you mean you got to spend the whole day by yourself? And those are the people that I'm like, I'll fucking never see you again. How does that sound?
That's actually what I was going to ask you is like, how do you convey how important that is to to your responsibilities, basically? Like you just mentioned your ex-wife. And then what about like, I don't know, the other guys on the show, like if they maybe have a show or something?
We're all kind of the same. Mm-hmm. Diesel Dave's different though, man. You ought to have him out on your show. I think you'd really like. Dave's a different guy. He's like somehow he just fell out of heaven. Like honestly, I really say that. I don't say this about a lot of people. He's just one of those dudes that I've never ever had him meet someone and that he didn't become their best friend and their hero within minutes. Wow. He's just the best dude in the whole world. Now, I only use him as a bad example because I'll bet you he never needs to like recharge. But Heavy D is different. Him and I are a lot the same. Like when it's on, it's on. But when it's off, leave me the fuck alone. And that's how he is too, dude. He'll go for a day and I'll text him and I know he gets mixed up and he won't text me back and I'll go, oh yeah, he's recharging. So, and this may be something for people listening. Like, how do I tell people that I need that? You don't. If there's people in your life that you have to explain why you need to be better, then fucking get them out of your life. They need to just understand, like, dude, I need a minute. And if it's only a day and you're fucking pissed off because I need 1 day, I don't want to fucking have you in my life anymore. I just don't, you know? So for us on the show, Heavy D and I really understand it. No one understands Diesel Dave. You have to have him out. He's unreal. Coolest dude in the world, funnest dude. He don't give a shit about fame, money, nothing. He don't give a shit about nothing. He just likes to make people happy. And like he'll come to some of these events for like 10 hours. And I'll be like, dude, are you done? He's like, bro, let's go. What are we gonna, you know, I'm like, dude, you're nuts, man. He might be the only person I've ever met like that. But yeah, dude, the recharging thing, huge. And we all do it. We just have to be accepting of the fact that we do it.
Diesel Dave likes being around people, it seems like, right?
Oh, dude, that guy.
I know a few people like that. Like, they don't need that alone time to recharge. They just feel charged up by being able to interact with people for long amounts of time.
I think that is his.
Yeah.
I really do.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because he's like a battery when people turn. I mean, dude, I'm not kidding you. I have been invited to more people's weddings when I'm with him because people are like, oh my gosh, we love you so much. Will you come to our wedding? And he goes. Like, dude, randomly I'll be like, hey, Dave, we have that thing we gotta do on Wednesday, you know, and he'd be like, dude, I totally forgot to tell you. Somebody invited me to their wedding in North Dakota, so I gotta go, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Dave's he's cut from a different fabric. One of the best dudes I've ever met in my life.
What's your diet look like right now? Because we didn't really talk about that. I'm curious.
So I've always, for the last probably 5 years, really tried to do a keto type diet. I was a bodybuilder. I did a show in 2014. And I did the whole every 2 hours chicken and rice. I actually did, and this is why I don't eat fish anymore. So my body, and Mark knows because we probably have similar bodies, but dude, my body doesn't want to respond. It just doesn't. So when I got with my trainer, he was like, all right, dude, we're going to do a show. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do that show 12 weeks. He's like, no, you can't do that show 12 weeks out. So I did a show 9 months out. So I went for 9 months. I was 300. I went for 9 months. I had 0 cheat meals. I had 3 fish meals a day, and I ate.
Oh shit!
And I ate sweet potatoes, brown rice, and 2 chicken meals. That was it. I never cheated, not one time. I woke up every morning. I did an hour and a half of cardio, and then I did 45 minutes of weight training, and then I did 1 hour of posing every day for 9 months, except for Sundays. I would rest Sundays. Got to the show. I killed it. I looked great. Yada yada yada. I will never, ever do a show again. I will never, ever eat fish again. I won't do it.
Yeah.
And I won't even really diet because I don't like it. I just plain and simple don't like it. So all of that, then I started gaining weight again. I got on stage at 249. I was big. And obviously I kind of crept back up 300. And then the show started, and then my divorce, and I got all the way up to 330. And I was just eating everything. And it was like the only time that I felt good, right? I'm like, dude, my day's a shit. I'm dealing with this. I'm just like, fuck, I want a taco, you know? So like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, I'm going to try this keto thing, you know? The Atkins, whatever they were calling it. And my body responds really, really, really well. Well, then I started to get to a place with like, I was just like, dude, I hate not having carbs. So I was like, well, let me try fasting. Let me try the intermittent fasting. And I tried that. I started doing that like 2 years ago, which I love because I can kind of eat whatever I want and I still feel good and I look the way that I want to look. I was telling Mark, like, usually I feel good at 300 pounds, but I really want to get down to like 275.
Yeah.
So that's like my gauge. Oh shit, I'm 310. Fuck, I got to hit keto hard. Oh, I'm 290. All right, I can have that pasta or whatever. So I did all that. I've kind of been in and out. Well, about 6 months ago, I met up with he's the one, he has one leg.
Casey Mitchell?
No, not Casey. But I met him the same time I met Casey.
Maybe Derek Carver.
Yes.
That guy, right?
Yeah.
Is it Mick Carver or Carver?
Yeah.
Derek Carver?
Derek Carver. So I met him and he was like, bro, have you ever fasted for 10 days? And I was like, fuck no. I can't fast for 10 hours. You know, I'm like, dude, my intermittent fasting, I eat at 2, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, bro, try a 10-day fast. This was like 6 months ago. I was like, all right, man, this is going to be crazy. So I started doing those. So I did my first 10-day and I felt great. I got a little bit lightheaded and he was like, don't work out. I was like, nah, I got to work out. So then I started every month, I would do a 7-day fast at the beginning of the month. And then twice during the month, I would do a 3-day fast. So every month, about 5 months ago. So literally that's that's 13 days out of the month you're not eating. And then on top of all of that, I was doing an intermittent, which I still do. And now I just found out, I think I was telling your brother just barely, I just did the 23andMe and I found out that I'm like lactose intolerant. I shouldn't have any gluten. So now I'm like, fuck. Jeez. Now I got to go back and really hit the keto and stay in the meat thing, but I'm still going to continue to do the fasting thing because, dude, I feel so much better when I fast. I feel so. Even when we were at Nsima, I stopped fasting because I was so hungry from going from people to people because we didn't have breaks for food. You know, I was like, dude, just give it to me, hamburger. Blah, blah, blah. Dude, by day 3 at Nsima, I was swollen. I felt like shit. My brain wasn't working right. I'm like, fuck. And then, of course, I see Mark, and I'm like, fuck, he's seeing me off my game. I'm probably 10 pounds higher. I'm swollen. I'm tired, you know. But the reality of what I do now and what I will do moving forward, probably for the rest of my life, is a keto base with a lot of intermittent fasting and still doing a 7-day fast and a 3-day fast in the month. So that's kind of what it looks like.
Man, that's a lot of fasting.
It's a ton of fasting. That's why when you're like, dude, we're gonna fast, I'm like, dude, I'm behind fasting. Right. I just did a 3-day, or I did a 4-day fast because I forgot which day that I was even supposed to be. And once you get past day 2, you're like, I don't know, you don't get hungry anymore. You really don't. It's kind of crazy. But so Monday, I started Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I broke it Thursday night for my 4-day.
Explain to some people what even just some intermittent fasting might do for them being a bigger person. Like, you've been a big guy your entire life, and you've been kind of fighting your own body weight for many, many years. Like, why do you think fasting is why do you feel it works well for you?
So I eat a lot. I could eat if I wanted to, even right now, even after fasting for 4 days, I could sit down and have a 10,000 calorie meal without a flinch, and I'd probably still be hungry. So getting calories in is not hard for me. But I like fasting, and why I do it is for 2 reasons. Number 1, it helps me to get my mind in control of my body. My body tells me I'm hungry, and my mind says, fuck you, you're going to listen to me. Yeah. Number 2 is we usually get, we lose thought when we eat sugar and carbs and you know, we take a pre-workout, so we get amped up. Like, our body and our emotions change with what we ingest. Our body likes to be at homeostasis, right? So the less amount that I interrupt homeostasis, the better off I am. So if I'm not throwing food at myself all the time and going, well, shit, dude, how many calories are in this and how much sugar is in this? And I just go, no, man, we're in homeostasis. I'm going to stay here. I just feel good. Mm-hmm. I feel good. And the truth is that there's a lot of science behind fasting for 72 hours, and your body literally regenerating half beaten up cells all over.
Right.
So my growth hormone goes up, my testosterone goes up. And a lot of people think that's bullshit. I own a hormone clinic. I get my blood tested. I can go in and say, give me this, this, and this, and come back and get a test. And I can also say, I'm going to fast for a month or a week or 3 days, and I'm going to have my blood tested. And I want to see where my levels are. And guess what? That shit's real. Your body turns back on growth hormone when you say, hey, man, no more food. This is survival mode. So you gotta step it up. I mean, dude, you want to be clear? You want to be as clear as you can possibly be? Do a 72-hour fast. At the end of that 72 hours, tell me you're not as clear mentally as you could possibly be. Mm-hmm. It's truth.
And then also just not having to make a decision, right? Like, that probably helps a lot.
Yeah, and time too. Like, dude, how much
saves
do
a lot of
we...
time.
Derek, he was like, dude, you're going to have so much time. And I'm like, bro, you don't know me. And I was, dude. I was like, fuck, I'm not prepping food. I'm not eating food. I'm not throwing food away. I'm not driving to food. I'm not thinking about food.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was like, shit, I'm going to get more productive.
The food really rules you. And if you did sit down and have, let's just say, a fucking big sandwich or something like that at one of these shows, you'd be dead. You'd be done. It'd have to be the end of the day because you'd be dead tired, right?
Dude, that's what's so crazy is, like, you fast. I fasted to Nsima. I got to Nsima. It got chaotic, and I literally had no chance to even go get something keto-based. I was totally fine, happy, yada, yada, yada. I had that burger. They brought me 2 double cheeseburgers and 2 whole plates of fries. Devoured them, and I was like, oh, no, this is not going to be good. Dude, and I literally was like, oh, I feel stupid again. My brain's not working. I'm foggy. I'm tired. And you know what? I got more ornery. So I was like, shit, dude, this is not a good. So for me, what you put in your body affects so many things that if you stop putting things in your body, like, you become more clear. And I'm not even saying it around like a weight loss thing, even though you do gain from that. For me, it's how I feel. You know, like, dude, I just feel better. Don't get me wrong. I get tired when I get in the gym on day 2 of fasting, and I'm like, I'm going to go hard. And I hit, halfway through, and I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I'm tired. But there's also answers for that, right? Like Gatorade Zero and salt. And there's other things that don't affect mentally, but they give you the energy that you need to get going in the gym. I don't know, man. I'm a huge fan of it, and I don't think I will ever change fasting, intermittent fasting, and probably really going back to carbs and sugar. And that's not saying that everybody's like, oh, you're never going to have that again. No, fuck no. Of course I'm going to have it.
Right.
I'm not as hardcore as Mark is. Like, dude, in 2 weeks, I'm going to have a whole fucking cake and 17 pizzas.
Birthday?
Whatever it is,
Okay,
No, I'm just saying any,
Yeah, you're gonna
like I
cheat.
do that, and it's
Yeah.
and people are like,
I cheat. I fall off too.
It's my refeed. No, it's not my fucking refeed. I'm fucking hungry, and I want that pizza at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and
just
if
being
I can,
fat.
yeah, dude,
That's
if
it.
I want to
Accept
have
it.
that, like I'm fucking taking it.
Yeah.
End of the day,
Dude,
and it has nothing to do with that.
Man, it's so dope that you're saying all this because like you're a big jack strong dude. You're super busy. You have all this work you're doing, and then you just like you're not tired when you're fasting. A lot of big guys think they're going to lose a lot of muscle or they won't be able to do anything because they're not eating food, and you're legit doing it. I haven't done a 7-day fast before.
It's hard.
I know. I think you've done what?
I did 72 hours. Yeah, I haven't tried a
72
full
hours?
week yet.
Oh, dude, you got to do it a week.
give it a
72
try.
hours. So 72 hours is my favorite, and that's why I do it as much as I can. That's why I did it right before we came here. But man, like you want to feel like you're in control of your life, fucking tell your body to stop worrying about it for a week.
Right.
That's what it is, man. Like, hey, I know you're hungry, body, but I'm fucking controlling everything.
I think something that people don't even realize either is with the amount of food people consume all the time, and then with all the processed foods that are around, the human body is designed and made to produce ketones and to be in a ketogenic state. And then how many people's bodies actually get into like a ketogenic state? Probably not many. That's why everyone's so fat and so sick.
Yeah, and you know what I think legitimately, when we were created, I'm not even going to get into the like God created us or at the beginning or any of that shit, but at the end of the day, when we were created or in the beginning or in 1200 AD,
Yeah, 400 years ago.
yeah, fuck, 200 years ago, right? Like, dude, people were going, all right, I ate 3 days ago because I caught a deer,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to eat again for a fucking week, right? Like, that's the way we were created. We were never meant to have 8 meals a day and go to Wendy's and, like, that's nuts.
Imagine if you found some like almonds or something. You ever try to fucking crack an almond shell or like try to figure out how to get it'd take you forever. So how many almonds are you going to eat?
Yeah.
5 of them maybe? Like,
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to, and not
But
that
you're
I'm
smashing them with rocks and shit, trying to
not
fucking
that
open
I'm
them
going
up.
to the vegan thing or the vegetarian thing, but I am going to say we were meant to eat plants. Like, there was times, I guarantee it, we were like, oh, you've been fasting for 7 days and you can't find meat? All right, well, berries and plants and grass and trees and whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's the way our body was meant to be doing all of this shit. So don't steer away from that. you
Yeah, I
know?
agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude. So that the fasting thing though, I love it. I think that's the answer for a lot of sicknesses. I actually think fasting is the cure for a lot of things like cancer. I really do. I think when you starve your body, I mean, what's radiation? Radiation is slowly killing your body, right? And it just so happens that you survive, but the cancerous cells don't.
Right.
I have a really good friend that lives out here in California. He sold his company to Microsoft. He made like $800 million, right?
Wow.
He found out he had lung cancer, and he went to UCLA. He found the top 2 professors. He said, I'm hiring you to work for me full time, and I want you to find cure for cancer.
They said, don't eat.
Yeah. Well, you know what they said? They said, well, let's start with get rid of carbs and sugars.
Right.
And literally, the doctors told him he had 6 months to live. That was 3 years ago. So he stopped that, and then he did another thing. And I don't want to get too much into science because I don't know it, but he started drinking.
Ketones?
No, he started drinking gold, and the molecules in gold would fill into the cells that were cancerous, and they would flash it with a light, and they would collapse the cells. So that mixed with fasting, no sugar, no carbs, he went back in a year ago.
I can't afford the gold treatment, bro.
Yeah, no shit. But no, so he went back in, and the doctor was like, it's not here anymore.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Right.
and the professors, the UCLA,
Yeah.
whoever he hired, who's on full-time staff with him, are like, dude, you want to stay healthy? Greens, no carbs, no sugar, you'll be fine. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
And that has helped a lot of people. And our friend Ron Penna, the one of the former owner of Quest Nutrition, he had a keto pet sanctuary where they had these dogs on a ketogenic diet, and a lot of the dogs were in remission from cancer because they were on a ketogenic diet. And then a ketogenic diet, by the way, mimics fasting.
It does. 100%. And how weird is that?
Right.
Back in the day and 200 years ago when we were wandering around, we didn't know where the fuck we were going to go. Like we didn't eat for 3 days. Oh, that's the way our body was supposed to perform.
Right.
You know, like that really is the truth.
Yeah.
And most sicknesses are from inflammation, and inflammation goes away usually when you stop doing carbs and sugar.
Right. And they say that cancer can be considered a metabolic disease. Do you think that fasting or some knowledge of fasting may have would have helped your dad?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. So my dad, so he had diabetes from the time he was 8. And then when he was 21, he had his first kidney transplant. Obviously, diabetes beats your kidneys up.
Yeah.
He had his first kidney transplant when he was 21. And then when you do any kind of transplants, you have what's called immunosuppressants. And that's where your body literally, it fights anything you put in it, right? Like if you give me your heart, my body's going to fight that as a foreign object. So I have to take immunosuppressants so that my body doesn't fight that. Well, my dad was taking immunosuppressants from the time he was 21 to he then turned 40 and had a second kidney transplant. The first one had died, and he started to get sick on a regular basis with pneumonia. And that pneumonia, because of immunosuppressants suppressing his immune system, is really what killed him. And having it over and over and over until all of a sudden the doctor's like, hey, man, antibiotics aren't going to work. You've taken antibiotics every month for the last 20 months. Mm-hmm. And I think if he wasn't overweight, which he was at the end, and if he wouldn't have been doing sugar, carbs, you know, all of that shit, I can guarantee, I don't know if he'd be alive today because that would have been 10 years ago, but I can guarantee you he wouldn't have died when he did. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, they're seeing a lot of type 1 diabetes being like heavily suppressed through a ketogenic diet and through fasting.
Also with type 2, though.
Yeah. Oh, well, 100%.
Yeah, because you can get rid of type 2, right?
Yeah.
Your A1C drops and you're good.
Yeah.
And dude, I've trained a lot of people because that was my passion with type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 just reminds me of somebody like cutting their finger. It's like that easy to fix.
It really is. Get them moving.
Ketosis and fasting and some training, and it's put a Band-Aid on that bitch, and
dude,
you're fine.
Isn't it the greatest thing in the whole world when someone is told at the doctor that they're diabetic, and in 3 months with you, you're like, oh, hey, what'd your doctor say? Oh, yeah, he said I don't have diabetes anymore. Cool, man. That's fucking cool.
Well, and you got to stay on it though too, because you can come back. Did you guys get to say goodbye to your dad because of the way that he was sick?
Yeah. So I got back from my mission, and 3 months later he passed away. He was like, hey, it's kind of a crazy story. My dad was a missionary in Chicago, and my brother, just younger than me, was also a missionary in Chicago when my dad passed away. And I remember the night that it happened. My dad 2 weeks earlier said, hey, I want to call your brother and I want you to be here. And I'm like, for what? He's like, well, I want to tell him goodbye. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was pretty coherent. So I was like, the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, where are you going?
Yeah. And he goes, well, this is it, man. I got pneumonia again. Antibiotics aren't going to work. Like, it's time I need to say goodbye to your brother. And I'm like, okay. So I remember sitting there, and this was 2 weeks before he died. He called my brother. He's like, hey, I got pneumonia again. I'm not going back to the doctors. I'm not doing the antibiotics. I'm going to sit in my chair and you're not going to see me again, you know, because when you're on a mission, you don't get to come home, you know. And my brother's like, what the hell, you know. And then so he said his goodbyes, whatever. It was pretty emotional. And I grabbed the phone. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, what's Dad talking about? And I'm like, he says he's done. So I don't know, man. He's like, is he all right? And I'm like, yeah, for all I know, he seems pretty okay. So hang the phone up, whatever. And then slowly his health started to decline. The pneumonia kind of took over. And then literally one night at like 2 a.m, my mom called me. She's like, hey, you need to come home. Dad's going to go. We called all of his brothers, all of our family, just in our living room. And he just passed away kind of peacefully. So it was crazy. Yeah. But I think that story or that part of my life has affected so many things around me that it's not that I wanted that to happen.
No, of course
but
not.
That experience I would never, ever, ever change. Ever. You know?
Why? Why is?
I think the reason I'm successful at such a young age, like I said, I'm 32, is because in my mind, life stops at 47. Because that's when my dad died. And I treat everything that way. Like everything, my relationships, like if I'm mad at you, I'm like, fuck, dude, what if I die in 5 years? I really want that. Do I really want that? You know, like, or work. Like everybody thinks in their mind, I got till I'm 90. I can retire at 65. In my mind, that 90 is 47 because that's when my dad died. So I've treated everything in my life like, all right, dude, 47's a full life. So you got to get going. You got to move, you know, which obviously has created the anxiety, some of the anxieties that I have. But essentially, like that's in my mind, that's the day. You know, so.
How are you gonna like look back and say like, oh, I enjoyed the journey? Like I know you're doing a lot of fun stuff, but like, you know, I just feel like everyone's always telling me like, dude, you gotta slow down. Like,
you know
you're
what,
doing
dude?
too much.
Because of that, because of my dad's death, I do that.
Yeah,
dude. Everywhere I go, I'm just like, sometimes I'll just sit back and be like, fuck, this is awesome. I enjoy everything.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying every single day I enjoy every single thing. But man, I'll tell you, like even coming out here, I'm like, fuck, man, I get to fly out, hang out with Mark and do some podcasting. Like, what a fucking cool experience this is. I always stop and reflect. And I'm like, dude, how great is this shit? So I look at all this like, nah, it's fucking great all the time. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm able to be happy, you know?
Yeah. And then going back to fasting, we have a lot of people that are they're power lifters, so they're so concerned with the strength, and that's their excuse for being a bigger, you know, athlete. So do you have anybody that ever comes up to you when you talk about fasting and they're like, oh, I'd fast, but I don't want to lose my strength? Mark has addressed it many times, but I feel like you might have more
and
passion.
I don't know what he said about it, so hopefully I don't repeat it or go against it. But the truth is, I'm 300 pounds, and I did used to lift a lot. And I'm sure if we wanted to go lift right now, I could probably lift a lot. My highest squat was 765. My highest bench was 545. My deadlift was never good because my back was always a little bit messed up. It was like 6 something. I could be back there, I don't know, in a year if I wanted to, and I could do it the way that I'm eating now. I can only talk about myself. I can't say for them that that's a thing. But I also think for those people who are literally listening to this, and if you're a power lifter, you should fucking understand this. Your mind dictates the reality.
Yeah.
Like you want to fucking lift 1,000 pounds, everything in science is going to tell you why you can't. And yet here we are still lifting 1,000 fucking pounds. And you think it's because of what you're doing, and it's not. It's not. It's because what you're doing is prepping your mind to tell you that you can fucking do it. You don't walk out there and lift something and go, oh, fuck, that was easy. Let me lift some more. Let me lift some more. Like everything is a process.
It's just a message to your central nervous system that you can handle it. And
like,
then your brain's like, oh, we're cool with that. Okay, that was a lot of weight, but all right.
And everybody's understanding is different. So like, dude, listen, I do understand there is some science behind everything. Like to say that there's not is stupid, but the reality is like you see those events where people do these insane human feats, and it's because at that point their mind doesn't get the decision. Like their mind stops and their body just goes, no, we got to fucking do this right now. You know? That's the same thing. So if you're worried about that, you're already set in your mind that that's going to be a thing, and it's going to fucking be a thing. If you're not worried about that and you go, nah, I'm just going to push through this, then you're going to end up pushing through it. So it's more a set of your mind than it is the actual nutrition. And I'm not saying don't fucking eat anything, but I am saying if you eat steak all the time and eggs and you fast a little bit and you're telling me that you're not strong, you're fucking full of shit. You just are, you know? Like even
maybe it'll be a big change from you going from your 7-Eleven fast food diet to what you're doing now, because maybe it's a less energy intake.
Yeah.
And maybe you lose some weight. Like if we lose weight, we will probably lose some strength, especially if you start to lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Your leverage has changed. But what people are failing to pay attention to is you can gain the strength back.
100%.
It can come back.
Well, and this will answer that question for people. Why do you think that people that eat like shit feel like shit and don't do anything? It's because their mind doesn't feel right. So if I'm doing something and it doesn't make my mind feel right, I'm not going to be able to perform because my mind is the thing that's telling me what the fuck I'm supposed to be performing in the first place. So at the end of the day, it really is all about whatever's tricking your mind. And I'm not saying just go out and eat whatever you want, but if you're so obsessed with these little things, you need to work on the big one. And that's this. Listen, man, if I wanted to be 330 pounds and bench and squat more than I did when I was 25, I could stick on the fasting and the diet that I'm doing right now and still get there 100%. It's just not, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and you can get some of the benefits of fasting, you know, even while gaining the size and strength.
And I honestly think that's why your physiology changes and your mind changes, right? Like all of a sudden, what if everybody always said the more shredded you got and the smaller you got stronger? What if that was a fucking thing? But in society, it was like, oh, well, you're too shredded, you're too small. Dude, some of the strongest fucking people I've ever met in my life are half my size or tiny. What's the power lifter that's a nut job? Marios Pujanowski.
Oh, Marios Pujanowski. Yeah,
that
shredded.
guy's strong as shit, and he's shredded as fuck, and he's outperforming dudes that are 4 times his weight.
Yeah.
So I don't catch on to this like, well, I can only do so much if I eat everything and I got to have those donuts. Okay, man, eat the donuts, look like shit, lift heavy weight. Or eat healthy and fucking put in your mind that when you eat healthy, you're just going to perform better. No matter what your weight is, stop stepping on the scale. You know? I think it goes back a lot to your mind. I think we can do anything we want to do if our mind can comprehend it.
And we don't need to hear your excuses on why you like donuts. We all love donuts.
No, everybody.
We don't just say that you like to eat donuts. It's fine.
Yeah. Like, dude, when you would text me,
There's
you'd be
Marius
like,
Pujanowski.
yeah, like,
Lord
okay,
Jesus.
you're going to tell me that guy is so strong because he's big? Because I could find 400 people bigger than him that aren't nearly as strong as he is.
Right.
And that dude he's one of the world's strongest men. He's been competing for how long?
Yeah.
And he's unreal to watch. And you know, I know the big thing is like have a big waist. You know, the big waist, you're usually strong. Hey guys, that's aesthetically a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So, and he's strong as a motherfucker. You know, I don't know. I think it's what our mind accepts, and then what we can actually comprehend. That's what I think. So, if you think it's the diet, you're stupid. And if you don't feel good, you shouldn't be doing it. I spent a lot of time recently with like big powerlifters. I spent a time with a guy that was squatting 1,000 pounds. He couldn't breathe. He was eating like shit. And when we went to work out, we did 2 lifts in an hour. And I was like, wait, hold on. So all of this is based around just wanting to lift heavy? Fuck, man, you're going to be dead in like 5 years. And none of this is even going to fucking matter. It's just not. So, hey, crazy idea, why don't we find out what makes you feel really good in your mind, and let's see how you actually perform with weight. You know? It's crazy idea, but I think that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get obsessed. We get sucked in. What's coming up for you next?
So we got the episodes coming December 9th, and this new season is sick. There's a lot of cool builds, so that's coming. Most people know I started a supplement company, One Mission Nutrition, which is like my baby. And the reason is because it is all based around one thing, and that's giving back. So every time you order supplements from me, I match that, and I send that supplement to active duty military members for free. So what it looks like is, you know, you buy a pre-workout and a protein. I send a pre-workout and a protein to the guy that's across seas fighting right now. I thought when I put this company together, I was like, how can I make a difference? And what do they do over there? Eat, sleep, work out, and fight. That's it. They're not doing anything else. Well, what am I going to do? Send free food? Like, that's not going to work. So supplements was really the next piece. And that's what I started the company. We've been, we're 18 months in. We just started.
That's
and
great.
dude, we've shipped a lot, pallets and pallets and pallets of free supplements to military members. And now you want to talk about rewarding? I get military members that come back and will send me a message and say, just so you know, today was the worst day of my life because I had to do things I didn't want to do. And when I got home, I had a shirt and a letter, because we always put a letter in there, and free supplements from you. And it changed everything. And I'm really, really grateful. And that, for me, is where my whole mind frame is now. Like I said, when we were like, I want to change. I want to help people.
Well, what's so great about that is, like, obviously, like, you give, and there's going to be like monetary value to giving. You know, you give people stuff, and now your name and your brand is in their mind and all that stuff. But beyond that, what it does is that person's uplifted for that moment, and they're going to start to consider, oh man, when I'm in a better place in my life, when I'm a little stronger, or when I'm out of the military, or I'm moving on to something else, now I get to do that.
Yeah.
Now I'm in position to do that. Now I can uplift somebody else.
And that's how you change the world, right?
That's it right there.
I mean, you help somebody, and then they help someone else, and that person helps someone else. And so that's kind of my thing. That's actually been my big focus outside of shooting, is that company, because like the holidays are coming up. And I know when I was a missionary, the hardest times for me were the holidays, to be away from my family. And the coolest thing that we did, started last year because the company's new, is we get a day. So my company's in Montana. It's right next to Rob and Dana's warehouse. We get a day where we have all the kids in all the schools that we can find write a very specific letter to a soldier. We then take those letters, we put them in boxes, and it takes us forever, right? Because we're trying to do $50,000, $100,000 worth of stuff, put them in the boxes with shirts and all this stuff, and then ship them out and get them out before Christmas. So on Christmas, they have something to open, and it's way more meaningful because it's literally a letter from a fourth grader. How great is that? A fourth grader is like, hey, man, I just wanted to tell you thank you for fighting and doing what you're doing. I know you probably forgot about why you're out here, but just so you know, we haven't forgotten. And it's it's awesome.
And fourth graders probably come up with some fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. Some of the shit. Sometimes I read these letters and I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to get that. But okay, we're sending it.
Yeah,
whatever.
keep blowing people up with your guns.
Oh, yeah,
like,
dude.
you're like,
one time I had a kid.
they draw something.
He
Like,
had one like drawn out and it was blood and
Yeah,
bullets.
you're
And I'm
like,
like, nah,
"Oh,
whatever.
that's-"
Let it go. Whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of the thing. But it's One Mission Nutrition, and it's all based around just giving back to the military. And of course, monetary, it helps us. It's a business. It's not a it is a 501c, whatever that is. It's like a charity.
Sounds great.
Anyways, but yeah, that's kind of where my focus has been. And then honestly, my number one focus at this point in my life is meeting people that I can have real relationships with, that they can enlighten me and I can enlighten them, and I can find a relationship that will last. Like, that's what it is. That's why you probably see me all over the place. Like, I'm spending time with Mark. I'm spending time with Rob. I was just with Jay Cutler. Like, dude, and that guy's such a stud. Such a fucking stud.
Can't say enough good things about Jay Cutler.
Dude. I mean, he came, picked me up from my hotel. He took me to dinner. Then we went and lifted, and we chit-chatted, and we bullshit. And
you're like, this is fucking Jay Cutler.
Yeah, dude, and he's just so cool, man. Like, it's just so cool. He's just one of those dudes, same thing, that's just a good dude. And I never in a million years would have had the time, energy, or even been able to do what I'm doing with him now if my mind hadn't have changed and been like, I just want to meet cool people and change lives and have them help me,
You got a special question from a fan over there?
From Wayne.
Our boy Wayne.
Our boy Wayne.
Who's Wayne?
You met him in the store earlier today.
Tattoos?
Yep.
Tattoos.
Okay.
So he wants to know the fastest 0 to 60 time in the biggest diesel truck you've ever built, and how much horsepower and torque did it have?
Fastest 0 to 60. Personally, I had a 2011 single cab, so it was just 2 seats, Dodge Ram that I built that was a twin turbo monster. It was actually a daily driver, and I have it on my Instagram, but it's so far I don't even know if you could find it. But it was probably real close to 900 horse and probably 2,000 pounds of torque. And the 0 to 60 was real close to probably 3 seconds. I mean, it was unreal. The thing that's different about trucks is you can put them in 4-wheel drive and you can spool the turbo up, and when you take off, it's like taking off in a Tesla. Those Teslas are unreal to take off in, and it shoots you out. I've got a really good friend that has a 9,000-pound dually truck that does 8-second quarter miles.
Oh my God.
Unreal.
Wow.
It's unreal. And then he leaves the track and drives it home. It's crazy. So yeah, that would be, I would say, my fastest, 900 horse, 2,000 pounds of torque, and just a monster of it.
What do you think is the most misunderstood thing, that you that you might hear? Like, was there something that pisses you off when somebody says, like, my truck does this?
Specifically trucks?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what my most
there's got to be there's probably
thing is.
50 of them, but
my most frustrated, and most people know this, we're in a lawsuit with what would be considered the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, for what's called blowing black smoke or rolling coal. what 99% of America doesn't understand is that a diesel, even rolling that black smoke, is less pollutant than a Prius. Now, what they really don't understand is that black smoke doesn't go up into the atmosphere. It falls to the ground. It's unburnt fuel. So it's actually not doing what everybody sees and thinks that it's doing. Blowing black smoke is essentially throwing too much fuel into the motor, and it's not burning it, because remember I told you diesels have to burn at a really high temperature, and it's just shooting it out the exhaust as blackened.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah.
Where
and
there's
so
smoke,
that's
there's fire, but there's not a fire.
Yes.
It's not burning.
But people misunderstand that, and they see these guys driving down the road and blowing black smoke everywhere, and that's annoying as fuck. But what they don't understand is that's not polluting the way they think it is. That shit falls to the ground. In fact, that's why that video that we watched, he had black smoke all over him.
Right.
You couldn't roll an exhaust on your face with gas and come out with a black face.
Right. It wouldn't work, yeah.
Exactly. That's what that is. So that's my biggest thing that I wish people understood.
Cool.
Oh,
Yeah, awesome. Anything else over there, Andrew?
I was looking for the truck. I couldn't find it.
Cleared
though.
everything out.
Oh,
yeah.
it's a ways down there.
Yeah, it's okay. But
Where
no.
can people find you, big guy?
Most of what I do is on my Instagram. It's _muscle. And then the Discovery Channel. It'll be Monday nights. They actually moved us to the 7 o'clock slot, I think, for West Coast. And that's pretty much everything I do is you'll see either on TV or on my Instagram.
Awesome. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch y'all later.
Peace out.